Danful offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danful, Africa. To learn more, visit danful.africa.
History isn't just what happened, it's who we are. And now you can explore Africa's incredible past like never before. Introducing the new and engaging course catalog from aelearning.net, a world-class provider of interactive e-learning focused on Africa's rich and diverse history. From the rise of ancient Nubia and the power of the Mali Empire, to the architectural wonders of Egypt and the development of astrological knowledge by the Dogon people, each self-paced course brings history to life through stunning visuals, immersive video lessons, and interactive assessments. Designed for students, educators, and lifelong learners around the world, AE Learning's courses make discovering Africa's story easier, deeper, and more engaging than ever. With AE Learning, education meets flexibility. Whether you're a student, teacher, or lifelong learner, our platform gives you access to credible knowledge, rich multimedia lessons, and tools that make learning African history engaging and unforgettable. Join thousands of learners already rediscovering Africa's past and shaping its future. Visit www.aelearning.net today. Start your journey through Africa's past today, because the story of Africa is the story of us all. AE Learning, inspiration through high-quality education.
Peace, family. We are live again. That is the Mirror Search for Who. Thank you all. Thanks so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like button, and please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements before we get started. Announcement number one: we're rolling to Cape Town. We are rolling to Cape Town. That is going to be March 25th through April 2nd. March 25th through April 2nd. We are rolling to Cape Town. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO .Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO .Africa to learn more. I would greatly appreciate it. You know, we love y'all and would love for you all to join us on a tour. Again, you know, we love y'all. Would love for you all to join us on a tour. So we got Cape Town. We have Senegal in May. That's May 9th through the 18th for the Jazz Festival. Then we're rolling to Nigeria in August 2nd through the 11th. That's for Oshun Festival. Zanzibar, September 20th through the 29th. And then we're going to cap it off in Ghana and Ivory Coast in November. And we're thinking about doing we're thinking about doing Sierra Leone in November as well. Again, we're thinking about doing Sierra Leone at the end of November as well. Sanctions destroy some African countries, not socialism. Nah, it's socialism. Socialism, Marxism, and communism have never been a fit for Africa. Not saying capitalism is perfect. Are there holes and issues with capitalism? Absolutely. But if the solution is socialism, Marxism, or communism, that is not just it's not going to work out. Again, it's just not going to work out. But you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let one of the greatest economists ever. I'm going to allow them to talk about it. All right, let me get back to it. There we go. Shout out to one of the greatest economists, African economists of all time, Mr. George Ayite. Shout out to him, one of the greatest minds, not just economists, one of the greatest African minds of all time. I'm gonna pass the mic to him, and I just have to remind you guys, like once every 2 or 3 months, that socialism sucks, communism sucks, and Marxism sucks. Okay, I just have to remind you guys that that's not the way to go. Take it away.
To thank Jim for a very wonderful introduction. And I also like to thank you for finding some time to come here and listen to me. I think any casual observer of Africa will realize that things have gone so wrong in Africa. Let me give you a few statistics. 1985, for example, 2 million Africans perished needlessly from famine. Currently, Africa imports about 40% of its food. It used to be able to feed itself in the 1950s. Now, currently, more than 10 million African peasants have fled their countries. They are refugees. I'm not even counting those who are trapped in their own countries. You have civil wars. I call them senseless civil wars raging on in at least 15 African countries. In Angola, Mozambique, Ethiopia, Sudan. Income per capita for many African countries today are much, much lower than what they were in the 1960s. Now, why did things go so wrong in Africa? Now, if you ask the leaders and the elites of Africa or the intellectuals of Africa, they'll tell you that, it was the colonialists. It was American imperialism. It was the IMF. It was the International Monetary System, which was against Africa. For years and for decades, this is what we had. It got to a point where even the so-called backward and illiterate persons got fed up with it. And this is what they said. True, external factors have played a role in Africa's crisis. But by far, the most important factors were internal.
I agree.
It's now come to a time where Africa has to look at itself and the leaders have to look at themselves. And saying that the leaders have to look at themselves does not mean that you're holding brief for colonialism or for imperialism or for what. If you take, say, a cup, and the cup is full of holes, obviously that cup, common sense tells you that that cup is not going to hold water for a long time. No matter how much water you put in it, it's all going to drain away. And to the extent that you have internal leaks in Africa, this is very important, to the extent that you have internal leaks in Africa, no matter how much foreign aid you pour into the region, it's not going to be of any use. What do? Again, common sense suggests that as the first order of priority, you should plug those leaks. And if you plug those leaks, then the little foreign exchange or foreign aid that comes in can stay. Now, what are the internal leaks? 1, incompetent leadership.
I agree.
2, corruption.
I agree.
3, misguided ideologies.
Yep, like
4,
socialism.
civil wars.
I agree.
Obviously, I cannot discuss all these internal factors. I like to pick one of them. And that one was the imposition of socialism
Yep.
in Africa.
Yep.
The socialism that we had in Africa was a very, very, very peculiar type of socialism. Now, this is how many African officials defined socialism. There was one minister in Kwame Nkrumah's cabinet in Ghana. When asked to define socialism, he said, socialism does not mean if you have made a lot of money, you cannot keep it. There was also another minister in Mugabe's government. He was asked to define socialism. Now he said, in Zimbabwe, socialism means that what is mine, but what is yours, we share.
Right.
Now, this is the peculiar kind of socialism that was imposed upon Africa. A peculiar type of socialism which allowed the head of state and a phalanx of kleptocrats to rape and plunder their state treasuries for deposit in Swiss bank accounts. Under Mobutuism, the president of Zaire, President Mobutu, has more than 8 billion in Swiss bank accounts.
Mm.
Now, his personal fortune alone can pay off the entire foreign debt of his country. And when Africans were starving in 1985, Mobutu, who himself boasted on 60 Minutes, CBS, 60 Minutes.
Hey, do you have a source for
did
that?
not lift a finger to
was our
help his
number
own
512?
fellow African people. Why do so many African governments or leaders choose socialism? The reason why they chose socialism was because they felt colonialism and capitalism were the same.
Right, and that's the mistake they made. Hold on,
Lenin
there we
said
go.
capitalism was the extension.
Right, exactly. And they also come with the same argument that slavery was the beginning of capitalism. That capitalism equals slavery, and that's the issue. He's right on. He's right on point. Colonialism and slavery they're not the same, or they're not synonymous.
Colonialism and imperialism. So when we gained our independence, African leaders didn't want to have anything to do with capitalism. It was exploitative. We wanted socialism because socialism was what we needed to fight the imperialists. Now, this is what Nkrumah of Ghana said. And also Nyerere of Tanzania said, well, capitalism encourages individual acquisitiveness and competition. We don't want that. We want social justice. So we want socialism. So a lot of African leaders adopted socialism as an ideology. And by that ideology, socialism meant state participation in the economy. As a matter of fact, Nkrumah of Ghana said that under socialism, state participation in the economy was to be taken to a point of complete ownership of the economy by the government. Very, very, very frightening. And accordingly, Nkrumah nationalized all foreign companies, set up state enterprises, imposed price controls, gagged the press. Anybody who spoke out against Nkrumah was locked up. At the time of independence, Ghana's per capita income was $200 per head. And Ghana also had a respectable foreign exchange reserves of 400 million. 3 years into Nkrumah's socialist experiment, Ghana was bankrupt and borrowing money. Now, when Nkrumah was overthrown in 1966, Ghana had a foreign debt of about $1 billion with nothing to show for. We had all these state enterprises, but they were so hopelessly inefficient that in 1983, for example, about 20% of those state enterprises were producing using 40% of their capacity, industrial capacity. The rest was just, making losses upon losses upon losses. We had, a Black Star Line shipping agency. And it had so much redundant staff that in 1984, about 284 of them were paid for 3 years to stay home. It was not only in Ghana that you had all these state enterprises, Tanzania, Somalia. Somalia, for example, under socialism, state enterprises, Somalia built a plant to box bananas. But the amount of bananas the plant needed to break even exceeded the entire national output of bananas. A lot of the industries that were acquired under state ownership and also under state socialism were so haphazardly acquired that they were inefficient and very, very poorly designed. Ghana also built a state sugar factory. It took 3 years to complete that factory in 1979. And when it was completed, that factory laid idle for a year because somebody forgot to install a water supply system. If you go to Tanzania, for example, if I could give you a few statistics, many of the state enterprises established under Nyerere have been so grossly bloated, and also many of them are simply just not paying their way. Besides state enterprises, African governments also set up state farms to produce food for their people. And the state farms that Ghana set up were so inefficient that it could not even produce enough food to feed its own workers, let alone the nation. Now, the same experience also occurred in Tanzania, where under what was known as Operation Dodoma, many persons were uprooted and forcibly settled under some village community programs, which Nyerere called Injama. After that experiment in 1973, between 1974 and 1975, agricultural production plummeted. Tanzania used to be able to feed itself But by 1983, it was important, close to a third of its food needs. There's no question. And I'm not going to bore you with, giving you lots and lots of statistics. There's no question that the socialist experiment in Africa was a complete failure. Why did it fail in Africa? There were 4 reasons. 1, socialism created a very huge and unwieldy state bureaucracy. And that bureaucracy was characterized by waste, inefficiency, and mismanagement. The second reason why socialism failed in Africa was because the ideology itself created a whole paraphernalia of controls and regulations. Now, this is important. The controls and regulations breed corruption. And the problem is, when corruption appeared in Africa, because of controls, African governments wanted to correct the corruption. So they imposed more controls, as if more of the bad medicine will cure the patient. The third reason why socialism failed in Africa was because it resulted in an extreme concentration of powers in the hands of a tiny minority. That's the ruling elites. And this power in much of Africa was used to suppress. I should say that power was abused, used to suppress the peasant majority. If you take a look at that across Africa, there are 2 classes. You have the elite minority.
All right, guys, I'm putting the chat room. You want to call in? You got the conversation. You want to call in?
In almost every African country, the elite minority has concentrated all the power in itself and does not share power with the peasant majority. Now, there are 41 black African countries, and only 2 of them allow the peasant majority to vote.
Guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in, add to the convo, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation.
Many of these African leaders calling upon South Africa to give blacks the right to vote, which they should have, nobody questions that, themselves do not allow their own black African people the right to choose and vote for their leaders. The fourth reason, and this is most important, why socialism failed in Africa is because the ideology itself is alien to indigenous African culture. Very important. That ideology is alien to indigenous African culture. In indigenous Africa, all the means of production, with the possible exception of land, is privately owned. The fishing canoes, the nets, the huts, the bows and arrows, they're owned by peasants. They're not owned by their chiefs. The peasants go about their economic activities on their own initiative, not at the behest of their chiefs. And when the peasants produce any surplus, they take these surpluses to village markets. And now these village markets have always been open and free. The chiefs do not impose price controls on their peasants. And when the peasants make any profit, it's theirs to keep, not for the chief to expropriate. There were free markets in Africa before the white man set foot on the continent.
Go ahead, Colin.
Hey, Diane, am I on? Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead. You're on.
Yeah. This topic is something that is long time coming, because I've been having these things. Like I was thinking about this video. I'm glad you did. There was a video that resurfaced of Kwame Ture, or I like Stokely Carmichael, and he gave this whole thing talking about. See, they always equate everything, black struggle, liberation, all that shit with capitalism, the capitalist system. Let me tell you something, folks. It wasn't capitalism that oppressed black people. Yeah, that was the means to do slavery and stuff like that. But capital was not the problem, right? It was white supremacy and black mediocrity and black backwardness and our lack of accountability and our refusal to adapt to civilization and take on the world. Our responsibility in the world is a problem. In other words, we basically outsource all the responsibilities to the world, to the white race, now the Asian race. There's no black race building semiconductors. To do so, you would have to embrace some sort of capital. Capital requires risk. What's the risk? You spend 20 years, you invest in education for 30, 40, 30 years with science, whatnot. You look at benchmark scores and everything like that, and then you get an outcome, a payout. That's capitalism. So you do the same model as far as business, you do the same model as far as education. The people who adopt this model get ahead, and the other people who don't, they stay backwards. Now, the same thing as this. Socialism has never uplifted black people. They're still in poverty. The same people structure of poverty and disease, everything like that, exists in a socialism and capitalism. So it has nothing to do with either one of the systems. It has everything to do with black people not basically having their own industrial revolution, their own technology revolution, and their own building. There's no country in a black country world that qualifies for a real authentic nation state, black nation state. None, not one. Close might be Rwanda, but the economy is so small, it doesn't really mean anything. You might have Botswana, but that again.
Yeah, Kyle, how do you feel about the AES? I don't think I ever got your.
The thing is this: I give them a effort for trying, right? But let's be honest with ourselves, and I'm saying things piss people off. You cannot tell me build something when you got 90% of the people still living in the 3rd century. Dinus, in order for you to these people are actually challenging the West. They're challenging when you got black people. I'm going over to AES and whatnot, like Cuddy and whatnot. Look, so I want to go back 14 centuries in history, right? To be at the level, the average person in that region makes $500 a year. Dinus, now Dinus, can you live on $500 a year?
They find a way to do it now. It might.
But like I said, mediocrity. That's because they don't have any challenge in the world. They're not trying to build anything. They're not trying to create anything. They're withdrawn from. This is what I'm talking about. They're withdrawn from the world. Now they basically want to be like bait, but the only thing we don't have. They have territory that they control. So only card they have to play is playing with superpower against each other, so they can benefit. The AES is not anything like the Soviet Union or the United States or anything. They have no capitalist base or no production base or no industrial base or no military means of production and everything like that. Nothing, no educational base, nothing. So that's all they can do because they do have recognized sovereign territory. That's the one thing we do not have. Okay. Now, other than that, the spirit of the AES I support. But you cannot do that until you basically say, okay, you know something, Europe, we want to basically replace Europe and America and Asia with our own Black African infrastructure. That's why we create the Black African infrastructure. If these other people got airports, nuclear missiles, big giant factories and everything like that, God damn it, we're going to have exactly the same thing. If they got it, the most important part of your society is your workforce, your industrial workforce, your skilled labor, how much they can produce. Two things a group of a nation needs is this, Dias, right? You need your financial system, which is your banks and your ability to produce capital and loan out capital and act on it. And you need a military to back that up. So when you put capital into place, you got a military to back it up if anything goes wrong, right? That's what happened with Japan. When Japan started pumping their capital into Asia, what happened? They backed it up with their navy. They went seizing territory. The United States put capital into Southeast Asia. That's why when the communists came there, we had to recruit that. So we had a military. Africans don't have the military capability, or you don't have the financial capability for any sort of expansion, not even controlling its own region. Until you get that financial system, now there is a chance you could do that, because of the gold reserves and in each of these countries. If they would basically monetize the gold reserves and do that and build that capital-based system of money and military thing, yes, there's a chance. There will be a chance. Yeah, like I said, wherever there's a will, there's always a way. The only chance Africa got is their natural resources, and if they could create and educate their people and create a domestic economy, right, and produce all their goods and consume all the goods they produce and whatnot, and cut down on imports and produce most of the stuff they do, yeah, Africa does have a chance.
Hey, Cuddy, go ahead, Cuddy.
That's my thoughts on that.
Big salute, chat. Big salute, panel. Big salute, Diners.
Is that
Socialism? I agree with everything that the speaker was saying, Diners. Hey, you need to play more of that because the people need to hear that. Our people need to learn economics and learn how to get money because I feel like capitalism, because we capitalists, we about getting money. That's what capitalism is about. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about expanding money and you use some money.
Hey, Kyle, we got other people on the panel, so let Cuddy get through it. Then I want to make sure I can pass the mic. Go ahead, Cuddy.
Yeah, calm down, young whippersnapper.
Cuddy.
Yeah, you told me up, didn't you? Yeah, but we go get time.
Yeah.
Economics. That's what everybody mind need to be on. That's the only thing that's gonna save Africa. That's what's going on with the AES right now. Industrialized, industrial revolution. All these people need is the machinery. And that's the beautiful thing about Russia and China relationship, because they're supplying the machinery, everything they need to make parts, from nuts, bolts, and screws to make going engines, and they getting everything they need. So what's going on in the AES right now is evolving. It's an industrial revolution. Like I told you, that was the presidential speech. Ibrahim Traore is the mission, industrialize. Everything else, people talking about all the stuff that's on the news, they got y'all behind. Because they can't even keep up. And Kala, they do got military capabilities. They didn't sign over a whole mine to get whatever they need. Russia say y'all can get whatever y'all need. Missile defense, drones.
I don't think any African country has a missile. They do not have any missiles in Africa, bro.
What?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well, we talk about Nigeria fired them on Benin.
Don't kid yourself.
But what kind of missile? Any missile that can reach Europe?
Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself, brother. These are
things I've seen. There's no missiles that could in Africa.
These things I've seen, brother. So you can't tell me what's not here.
I'm sure you would look at somebody's kite, Cuddy, or somebody's drone.
That's your thing. ODB, you the only ODB on here.
Yeah, I'm saying, so missiles, you got to do some doing, man. I don't think they'll ever let an African have a guided missile like a cruise missile or a Scud missile that could reach beyond the shores. You don't know what they're gonna
let Africa have. It ain't up to
but how is Africa gonna build it?
It ain't up to America's decision no more.
Yeah, but America is the only one that can manufacture that or sign off like a sanction. They'll put sanctions.
No, they're not.
Any country that can do that. So how you gonna
guys? Let me Cuddy, don't interrupt, Colin. Cuddy, you got 45 seconds. I can pass the mic.
Okay, but yeah, like I was saying, back to my fault. Dynasty.
No problem.
Economics. That's what we need to be on at the end of the day. When it's all said and done, we need to be trying to get access to resources, because it can't nobody do nothing without resources. We need to be building relationships around the world so we compete with what's going on, because while people still with the plantation mind state, you got to put your mind on a worldwide level, like that.
Then Cuddy, we lost you.
Yeah, man, go
ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Sam, man.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for letting me on there.
No problem.
It's a pleasure to be on here. Yeah, I can't say that I'm an expert on economics or anything like that, but I'm trying to learn. Most of my entrepreneurial wisdom comes from just a third party just investing. You got your 401ks. I mainly just been working and investing my money, so I haven't really ventured into getting into a serious entrepreneurship and start my own business. It's a lot of risk in it, but I look forward to having an opportunity to do more of that in the future. As for like Africa, you know, um, fortunately for us, what I'm saying, as the world's turning, knowledge used to be something that was only available to the people who had the ability to have access to the education, whether it be through schooling and through other educational means like books. But with the internet and stuff like that now, that's making it a smaller world. So everybody, across the whole entire world can have access to basically the biggest library in the entire world, which is the internet. So I look forward to more countries in Africa utilizing, or the young people in Africa utilizing access to that information and hopefully educating themselves and utilizing that to make more investments and financial, more smart investments financially, and maybe even doing some other things financially. Um, as for like the argument in between socialism and capitalism, now I know that capitalism is a science, and it's a complicated art form that some of the more sophisticated people are the best at operating at it. But you take a country like the United States, which is supposed to be the king, big kahuna of capitalism, yet they say based on our educational rating across the world, like we're like at the bottom when it comes to all of the developed countries, when it comes to like comparing our students up against most of these other countries when it comes to education. you know like the kids in Chicago, they were talking about they can't read on the grade level, the majority of them. I recall not too long ago talking to a friend of mine, and he raised his kids in Europe, in one of those so-called socialist countries, and his kids were doing advanced calculus in grade school. Stuff that our kids here in the United States had couldn't even fathom understanding. So it's like I believe that there needs to be a balance in between socialism and capitalism so that we can get the most out of the youth, and um, hopefully they can, moving forward, they can advance themselves. So yeah, what do you guys think of that? Why do you think the United States, since we're the big dog when it comes to capitalism, why are we so dumb?
Because the United States is not really a capitalist system, right? What the United States is a free
Hello.
enterprise. Two different things. It's a free enterprise system. It's not a capitalist system, right? United States in capitalism, there's no rules. It's like what they call laissez-faire. We do have regulation. You can't just go drilling oil right off the coast. You got to
Free
go out.
enterprise is socialism.
No,
Go
free
ahead.
enterprise, not
Who else
socialism.
supposed to?
Who's
Can
that
I say
talking?
something, Dinus?
Right, go ahead.
No, it's not. It's not.
Who's
It's not.
supposed
It's.
to?
I got it.
Okay.
So it's Africa's turn. Is that you talking after Africa? Well, hold on.
Yes, please. Yeah, thank.
Make sure Sandman is finished first.
Yeah,
Okay, no.
I couldn't hear you guys. Yeah, I was done.
Okay, go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, thank you. Please, no one interrupt while others speaking. That would be nice. Keep the conversation flow. Thank you very much, Brother Dinus. Um, yeah, in Africa, capitalism, socialism, um, is actually it's very interesting one because I've been in a different platform. We're having some lot of think tank conversation about what's actually suits Africa. I think yes, some form of capitalism, with safety nets, it would do, but that is far away from reality. I'm not going to be so negative or positive about it because people always, see me as someone that giving negative comment, but I've just been realistic. I think yes, socialism actually failed Africa in the last centuries, and a lot of our leaders, tend to cling on to that. And also, raw capitalism with no regulations actually also have failed Africa. So these are both, systems, that they haven't actually helped us well. And based on what we've been discussing in the last few months, I don't know if you know Kaiser very well. I was on Kaiser platform. He's actually, he's a very smart guy. He was working on some project, called Zamani. Zamani is more like communalism, right? And if you look at Africa, for example, we do not need um, we don't need a lot of things from outside. We do have everything sufficient. If you look at Europe, for example, Europe doesn't have everything they need. So they have to be partly capitalism, partly socialism, just like America. And I think Carla made a lot of valid points. I agree with Carla, in the beginning in terms of how the system, that how it works, and how we should actually, where we should look at, yeah, where we should actually be looking at things moving forward. But I think we're far away from that. You cannot have a capitalist, you cannot have any type of economy if you do not have 24-hour electricity, good power grid. You don't have clean tap water. You don't have good roads. These are all part, whether it's capitalism or socialism, these are the bread and butter. And if you look at places like, the Sahel, as I said yesterday, the literacy rate is very low. This, human capital development is one of the factors of any economy. No matter what you have, what system you have, if your population is illiterate, then you're just wasting the time. And so I think communalism is the best way. We should actually, government should invest more into having steel plants, and manufacture their own instead of having to rely on buying things. And also build our own currency, that suits us, strong institution. But education should be number one at this time. And also in terms of security, Cody, I'm afraid, you can't outsource your security. You can't keep depending on other people, supplying you ammunition to defend your land. That's a weak way of doing it. You need to actually start making your own. And this is where education and industrialization comes in, like having a steel plant. You cannot have weaponry, without having a steel plant, and also, having a 24-hour grid, a good electricity supply, to industrialize. So I think Zamani is something that you guys should be looking at. It's very good. It worked for Africa. But the only problem with the Zamani is the defense side of it. Because obviously we know the world is wild west, the competition is high. If like another country see you're growing above them, they'll try and put you down. We know that. And also we need sovereignty, which I think I agree with the AES side of it, where we need to be self-determined, and we get rid of outside influence. I was actually looking at studies in, for example, the most populous black nation, in Africa, how America, since, for example, Babangida, uh, how America actually entered and actually controlled who run Nigeria over the years, and how they bullied us around and make sure we do not reach our potential by choosing our leaders, indirectly. So I think Zamani is something we should be looking at, and build this infrastructure that I just said. Okay, supply enough machinery to the population, to the farmers. Look at Ivory Coast, for
30,
example.
30
Ivory,
seconds.
Ivory,
30 seconds. Then I pass the mic.
okay, look at Ivory Coast. In West Africa, Ivory Coast is the only country during the colonial days. They said, "Do not touch anything under the ground." If you fly over Ivory Coast, Diners, you see the agricultural project that going on in Ivory Coast. It's all farmland. They invest loads of money in agriculture, and they produce, cocoa. They produce pineapples. They produce different things, and they got the steel plant to do it. That's because they got the greed. Okay, so we need to work on the.
We got other people waiting. I got to pass the mic. Go ahead, Jagu.
No problem. Thank you.
Hi. Hi guys. Good evening. Yes, I've got a lot to say. I listened yesterday to the conversation. It was quite interesting. A lot of things were said that I didn't agree with. I wanted to come on and satisfy them, but it was fair listening. I like the fact that I Can Fire was able to put our man Africa under some level of jurisdiction. Put it that way. On today's subject, and what you showed with Professor Adrim, I think his name. I know
Barkley,
him.
y'all try to put me in a mix up. Seriously.
No man, that's cool, man. That's
While
cool.
going
No man,
Jagan,
yeah,
Jagan,
me there, Rasta.
blessed.
You cool, brother. You cool. Everything bless up, brother. Eh, what
Respect out.
what I'm trying to appreciate is that our man there. He made a speech some time ago, about 20 years ago, actually. Um, he spoke about the cheetah generation and what was the hippo generation beforehand. Now he's talking from the 80s, which for me it's not that long ago, but obviously for everybody it's before many people were born, I'm sure, on this stage. Now I remember just listening to him, and really, as Dynast has caught on to say that this is an intelligent individual. But we have a lot of these kinds of individuals who speak in a certain way. I believe I can speak in a certain way about Africa's development and the route to go. But who's listening? Uh, who's listening? And I believe that this is where this generation, need really to understand the lay of the land, how far we've come as a global people, as a black people, what's happened in our history, which is all over the world, and what is our future. And you see, these questions, they were only asked in our first regimes in Africa when we got our independence. That's when these questions were actually being asked and answered. Since then, we haven't put pen to paper. And when I say we, I mean us in the diaspora, our politicians all over the world. They haven't put any pen to paper that suggests that this is the African route. Nothing, no template, no agenda. It's just all bullshit, I'm afraid, that comes from our politicians globally. It's a big shame because it suggests to me that, based on our conversation yesterday, it suggests to me that we don't want to think. We don't want to think through the difficult things that we have to think about. Yesterday we were talking about tribalism. I don't want to go off too far, but I want to see what kind of conversation we have today. Yesterday we were talking about tribalism and how it's important or how it's not important. And you see, both ways are extreme. If we say that we are going to be a non-tribalist, that means we take away who we are as people, our individual cultures, which means a lot will be lost. Now, I don't believe that's the way to go. I believe there's a lot in our cultures, a lot to be researched, a lot to be changed, a lot to be thrown away. There's so many things within our cultures that need throwing away. The whole argument of our Christianity and Islam, it's a deep thing, man. It's a deep thing. I mean, a lot of people would say that um, it's good to be spiritual of some sort, of some level. And, I would agree on that. We're human beings. But at the same time, we have been given other structures of how to believe. And we have foregone our understanding, and we have forgotten and made to forget. And we don't really tackle these issues. We leave certain issues alone because they are very, very difficult. But you see, nobody promised that life would be easy. And I believe that we do have a strong way. I believe, and I will talk about it as we go on, but I believe that we have, as a global black entity, a way forward. I believe we're not really having a conversation about how that would go forward, how that would appear. Thank you very much. I'll end it there.
Go ahead, Econ.
So, Dinah,
Yeah.
wicked, Dinah. Respect.
Bumble
Um,
Glock, Bumble
I,
Glock. Yeah, Bumble Glock. Yeah.
See that?
I saw you. I saw you in Namibia jumping, bro.
Yes.
Uh,
I saw you eating
so
those bugs, bro. What you doing, man? What you
Look,
doing,
they were
man?
good. They were good.
I hope
yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, let me just say this about the dude that was on the lecture. He's missing out a lot of things to come to the conclusion that um socialism was destroying Africa or had destroyed certain parts of Africa. He forgot the part of Western collusion or interruption or site um infiltration. You feel me? He forgot about Western disinformation and misinformation. So he didn't speak of nothing about that because he didn't even speak about that destroying
You only got a piece of
Russia.
him, you know. You only got a piece of him. He's a very serious
Wait,
guy, that guy.
yeah, but please don't. What I'm trying to get something. I'm not talking about his characteristics or his academics. I'm just talking about things that he's not directly pointing to say that if it wasn't for this, it would have survived and it would have been
Mm.
progress. You feel me? He's not saying what. So I'm not blaming socialism for the things that went on in Africa. I'm blaming Western intervention, Western in indoctrination, Western infiltration, disinformation and misinformation. That's what I'm blaming. Now, when it comes to um um socialism or capitalism, I don't see none of them different. Reason is you the African, you the African, anytime you get any one of them right, you are a threat. And the colonizer is going to kill you. Or what's that? What's that?
Somebody TV.
Come on, man. Put yourself on mute. Put yourself on mute, whoever that is.
Let's call it. Hold on. Let's call it. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
You got a minute, Econ. I got past the Pamela.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm saying now is um whether we are doing capitalism or socialism, if we're doing any one of them correctly, you are going to be targeted. You feel me? If you're black, if you're from Africa, or even major black countries, you feel me? Because the 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 they don't want you to survive. They don't want you to progress in their faces, knowing that they want you to drown. They want your stuff. So it don't matter which one. First of all, Africans don't practice capitalism. So don't let no African trick you. Most of them, they don't practice capitalism. Second of all, Africans only practice, well, when they do practice capitalism, they only practice capitalism between each other. They rob from each other, steal from each other, swindle each other, and cannot be trusted around each other for some parts. You feel me? Not everywhere, or not everyone. But that's the characteristics of the typical colonized African. You feel me? If he was studying real capitalism, nobody robbed them. No Western country could take a grain of sand out of Africa without the African getting at least 60% profit off that. You feel me? Or else you're practicing giveaway and sponsorship. You feel me? So that's what Africa is a philanthropist. That's what Africa, that's the government system that Africa applies. Philanthropist. You feel me?
I gotta pass the mic.
Okay, thank you. All right, say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong, guys.
Pam Mulattoism, go ahead. Pam Mulattoism, go ahead.
Yes, sir. And thanks for having me up. I have to say this. A lot of times we get on the panel and we forget that we're on the panel and we become long-winded. So I'll try to be concise. As far as the question, that's the topic, has socialism destroyed Africa? I admit I don't know. It's debatable. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I'm not sure. But I think what has been more detrimental and more destructive to Africa is Africans literally selling millions of other Africans to Europeans, Asians, Arabians, etc. Additionally, it has also been destructive that after colonization, post colonization, you've had millions of Africans voluntarily flee Africa to move to the Western world, Europe, Asia, Arabia, etc. If these same Africans were still in Africa, you would see Africans developing superior weapons.
We got a detractor.
With all due respect, you see, I did not interrupt you. Let me complete my sentence. It'll be so brief. It'll be so brief. If Africans didn't sell other Africans to foreigners, and if Africans didn't voluntarily flee Africa, you will see these millions of Africans still in Africa developing weapons to prevent foreigners from invading Africa, preventing foreigners from colonizing Africa, and you will see these same Africans developing more suitable indigenous forms of government to build stable nations in Africa. Or in other words, in conclusion, what we see in Africa right now today is the karma of the traitorous, treasonous decisions of the Africans that still exist in Africa today.
That's true. That's true.
Let him finish now. Have you finished, sir?
Yes, I really
I gotta pass the OLAD, and after OLAD's cut it in Toto, then we'll open the panel up. Go ahead.
I agree with the last speaker fundamentally, and I disagree with him fundamentally. I'll let it go.
All right, go ahead, Ola.
Oh, hello. Yeah, Dynasty and everyone. Hey. Yeah. I was trying to counter what Carla was saying earlier, that nobody's going to allow any African country to develop missiles, which I think is a little bit off the mark, because there are countries that are developing missiles in Africa, like Egypt and South Africa, and Nigeria is also developing. Sorry, and Nigeria is also developing.
Why are you gonna answer that? You know that that's not educated talk. Why are you gonna answer it?
Yeah. So if you look at South Africa, for instance, I mean, they developed.
I can't. It's educated thought. You have never. No one's ever in their life witnessed a missile fire long range from an African soil, an African war.
Well,
exactly.
The Sahel is gonna. The Sahel is
gonna. No, God, let Ola finish. Go ahead, Ola.
Yeah. So if you look at South Africa, for instance, I mean, they've got very big.
It's a white country, bro.
Kala, let them finish.
If it's a white country, there are blacks, African blacks in America, who's also developing in the
Sahel is going to buy it.
So whether it's whites or
they're
not,
gonna buy it.
Yeah, it's on African soil. I mean, it's Africans in the factories building the equipment.
South Africa is a white infrastructure.
Sorry?
South Africa is a white nationalist country connected.
Don't repeat it. We've heard you. Let him finish.
So South Africa have two types of missiles. I mean, one is Nkonto, which is a short to medium range, or where the capability is.
Like South Africa fighting.
Kala, let them talk.
Okay, not South Africa. That's fine. What about the missiles being developed in Egypt? That too is not Africa.
It's an Arab country, bro. We gotta get on the same page here. Those are
Well,
Arabs.
Nigeria too have started.
Egypt,
Nigeria too
bro.
have started building its military.
Carla,
Yeah.
wait until you see the Hareshnik in Burkina Faso.
Okay.
I think in the next going on forward, fair enough. In the past,
and that might be this year. That might be this year.
All right, okay. I got
the capability.
All right, go ahead. Ola, you got 1 minute. Guys, don't interrupt.
I would say in the past, fair enough. I mean, we were relying on our colonial masters and all that. But now that anyone could just get up and just come and say, hey, your country belongs to me, I think Africans will start looking at coming together. What I would have loved is West Africa to come together as one block and try and start finding ways to build a military complex. Because Nigeria started building its own military vehicles now. Last week I saw them.
Please answer this question. Answer this, brother.
Are you, hold on, Ola, are you finished?
All right.
Okay, I'm finished. Carla won't let me talk, so I'm done.
No, but Ola, are you finished or?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. All right, pass to Cuddy. Go ahead, Cuddy. Let me yourself, Cuddy.
I think it's the Ototo, I think Cuddy always put, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think I'm up. I think I'm up.
No, actually, Cuddy is the Toto investor. Then we go past him.
Hey, man, I'm tripping off y'all, man. It's beautiful though, man. It's beautiful, but yeah, like what that I gotta do. I want to salute all y'all brothers that's from the continent, that's abroad, that's coming home doing y'all thing, man. And the ones that's not here yet, y'all need to hurry up and get here, because it's those minds that's gonna help boost the Industrial Revolution. Like, that's how China blew up, off of their diaspora. They'll go to America, have babies, and go right back to China. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all got to do, because the time is prime right now. Like I say, this is the first year one of the Industrial Revolution. So if you don't get here now, get here fast, and start networking and making these connections, a lot of y'all gonna miss out. So y'all got to do what y'all got to do to be a part of this Industrial Revolution, so it'll spread.
All right, let me answer that.
And I'm gonna land at that. I'm going with that.
I want to say this, right? The whole thing is this: the number one mass destruction and weapon against Africa is hunger. Hunger and food security.
Foolishness.
Let them talk though, please.
If you do not have proper refrigeration, food production, stuff like that, if you're one hurricane or flood away from mass starvation, you could like this, So
who is that?
What we have to do is produce more food in Africa, right? Right now, Nigeria is suffering from severe hunger, extreme poverty or whatnot. Hunger and stuff like that is gripping West Africa, whatnot. You might have people starving.
No, just Nigeria. The cows are eating the food in Nigeria.
Yeah, the cow. Look how skinny those cows are, man. Those cows are like they're
Brody ass cows, bro. You can't even get no milk out of them, bro.
Well, you see the bones hanging on the side, man. I'm like, God damn, ain't no meat on them.
Hey, Colin, that's some skid row cows, bro.
We got good food, and the animals need food. People need food in Africa.
Food.
Forget about weapons. We're like 100 years from that. We need food,
Whilst you're saying what you're saying about skinny cows, which is very accurate. Wait. Whilst you're saying what you're saying about skinny cows, which is very accurate and laughable to you guys, I tell you what, the meat that we eat from those cows that are skinny is real meat.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that.
I understand. No, I'm with you.
Your ass is in the motherfucking UK.
You guys,
goddamn motherfucking biscuits and crumpets. He always disagree with these black people. Always talking about we, Collar. It's we all the way in motherfucking goddamn UK. Talking about hail to the queen. Talking about we eat.
What are you talking about?
Shut your clown ass up. We know you, boy. flat talking about
Where you coming
you
from?
ain't in Nigeria. You ain't in Nigeria,
Go on,
batching
Tim.
boy.
Go on,
You
get
over
him,
there
get him, get
worshiping the
him,
What do you
queen,
know about
talking
Batchy
about
Boy,
get
we.
you
him,
idiot?
get him,
I
get
don't
him,
really,
Tim,
I
get
don't
him.
really
And
want to
really, that's why
descend.
they got so
I don't
triggered
really want to
when I
descend to this
said
kind of thing. I'm
respectfully.
I'm just
making a
telling the
clean
truth. I
Well,
point.
tell you what. I tell you what. Let me
I
know
go
when
next.
I told a lie. You over there in the UK talking about we. If anything, you know what amazes me? First thing first, man. Shout out to Africa that even coming up here, putting this platform together, putting a panel together to let
What's
y'all
this
Yeah,
for?
grown
What is
ass
this
yeah,
for?
grown ass men
yeah,
come up here and talk and
yeah,
complain and be drunk and be
What are you
yeah,
emotional
complaining?
and
What are you
crying.
talking
yeah,
I
yeah.
Who is
appreciate
I
that?
agree with you.
Africa. Most channels don't even let you go. You go on no
Wow,
African
wow,
channels,
wow, wow,
they got
wow,
a
wow, wow. You're just making
they got
noise,
an
man.
echo
Thank you,
chamber. They don't
thank
even
you,
let you
Tim.
Jaga
Thank,
talk
man,
on
let
their
him talk.
channels.
Tim,
They
thank
don't
Jaga,
even
you,
Let
let
him
you
let
thank
make
him
his
talk
you.
on
point
their
talk.
channels.
because I do
They'll
want to get
block
in
Tim,
you.
there.
let Tim
They'll
speak.
mute
That's his
you and
point.
whatever. So shout out to Dafro Africa for letting these
Also
clowns
smart.
come up here
What's
and
up?
talk. Now let's go
Yeah.
with this right here. I was listening to the
Let's go
show
with what?
yesterday. I heard all
Go
Why have
these
you
on,
taken over
clowns
the
Jagan.
show?
sit up
Let
here
Jago,
him
can you let the
talk.
goddamn
man
knowing
speak?
Why
It's his turn
everything.
to
taking
speak.
over the
Listen
show?
to
Jago,
these clowns acting like the
Brother,
Jago,
host
stop
listen.
that raised
interrupting
them,
him.
Why have
bruh.
you taken over the show?
Listen to these clowns
Jagan,
acting
let him
like the
Silence.
talk. Let
host
him
that
Let
talk.
this
Bloody
raised
gentleman
them.
speak.
idiot.
They
Where did this
emotional.
person come from?
You got dudes emotional in the
Bruh,
UK,
you
and
should
you
go and
got
shoot
Yeah.
emotional
yourself.
people in the United States talking about
Go
we.
and shoot yourself
Goddamn,
if you're
Cuddy is
done.
the
We
only person that's on the ground, and he ain't even acting like y'all feminine ass dudes. You get what
You're
I'm
an
saying?
idiot.
Now it's a hold on, Colin.
Idiot.
Hold on, Kenny. Don't put your hands up yet,
well,
bro, because I ain't through. I hear all
Idiot.
these dudes up here talking about what we need to do, what Bikini Faso need to do, and they gonna fight and all that from the United States. But you over there on the ground got your business. I ain't heard now one of these curry goat biscuit eating drunk
Even
man
listening to
even
you,
talking about
you're not
investing in
making
what
no
you
sense.
doing over there. Do you see how they
Curry goat
interrupted
and
me
rice and
when I'm
peas
telling the truth? You see how they
and
interrupted me when I'm
amala.
telling the truth?
When
They sit up
you
here and got
interrupted
all
me.
this
You
advice
was the
about
interrupter.
Bikini Faso. They got
You
all
were
this
the
advice about
interrupter.
Nigeria
Carlos,
and
where you
West
get these
Africa,
fucking
but
idiots
they
from?
over there living high off the hog with the white man goods and services. I ain't heard
Exactly.
not
Yes,
now one of them
yes.
that's talking about they ready to fight. All these dudes talking about they
Yeah.
Like
ready to
what?
fight and they ready to die.
Yes.
I ain't heard now one of them talking about investing with goddamn Cuddy over there in Bikini Faso and his
Or just
business.
moving back.
All they got, like, think
Okay.
about
None
it.
of them
All
even
these
talk
dudes
about
come on
moving
here.
back.
They the smartest people in the world. I heard people on the platform yesterday talking about people that live in the area, got kids in the area, got parents, family members that don't fought and bled in the area in
Thank
America.
you.
In
Exactly.
Thank
America,
you.
sit up there trying to
I,
tell people about what they
about my
live
people,
in the
about our
situation.
own
I would
people.
never sit up here and try to tell Cuddy about Bikini Faso when he on the ground.
Th-
The only thing I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
do is try to get his advice, and I'm gonna try to support his platform. You get what I'm saying? That's why I don't do
Mm.
all that crying and got all this $1 million advice, and I'm over
What are you
here
talking
representing the
about?
queen. I'm over
I
here
don't know what
Just
you're
hold
talking
on.
representing
Let me
about.
goddamn
let me
all
get in
this
right
shit.
quick. Let me get in.
You're just making noise.
Everybody wanna fight, and everybody wanna die from the comfort of their Wi-Fi, 24-hour electricity,
Facts.
24-hour goddamn AC and heat, and then the white man
Mm.
goods and service. I spend my
Right.
time, Cuddy. I spend my time in the hood trying to get black men to be entrepreneurs. That's what I do every week. Anybody can vouch for this. You tell any of these clowns, ask any of these clowns what they do for black people. They get drunk and they come online and start talking about we, goddamn, like they own the continent. We, like they investing on the continent. We, like they goddamn vested in Cuddy business. And I pass the mic.
Right,
And
right,
very
You're
right.
quickly,
And you got
the
and you
reason
got
that
just
non-African telling
pure
very
bullshit.
Africans
briefly,
how to
with
live
a
their
lot of
Pure
life.
people,
bullshit.
the reason that the
Anyway,
Africans get triggered
let the
when I
pin go
say
around. Let
that
the pin
they
go around.
destroyed their own
Let,
continent when they fled and ran to Europe and ran to the US and ran to
You
Canada
know,
is
you know
because
what?
truthfully, they have
You
no
don't have to be
intentions to move
questioning,
back to
man. Leave it
Africa to
No,
alone.
fix it.
no, no, no.
They will never
My
go back
friend,
to Africa to fix
wait,
it.
guys, please, my
Well,
friend.
one at a
But brother,
time,
you
man.
cut
One
me
at a
off,
time.
brother.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't
one
mean
at a
to.
time, brother.
I
I'm
mean to
in.
have a
Hold on, brother.
conversation.
I'll
I
pass the
mean to
mic to
have a
you when I'm done,
conversation as
brother. I'm gonna
opposed
be
to a
brief.
yelling match.
Jagan, just hold on.
can
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna pass the
Let,
mic to you
let
when
him
I'm
can
done.
you
talk.
let
It'll
the
be so
conversation
brief,
go
brother.
around, please?
No, the thing
The
is that
reason But brother,
the
I'll pass
gentleman,
the
I
mic to
forgot
you,
your
but
name.
Jagun, he
have some
already spoke.
decorum.
Jagun, you
please.
already spoke.
The
Let
point
other
It's not
people
is
like
speak,
that,
please.
man.
these
It's not like that.
these
I hope
Africans.
you're allowed to
Yes.
make
All
my
right,
point.
brother, please mute up, brother. You see, I'm in the middle of a sentence. These Africans living in the U.S., the U.K., Canada, Australia, etc., they get triggered when I tell them that they were complicit in destabilizing their own continent when they ran to these European nations. They are upset and they are hurt because they know that they will never move back to Africa to fix it. They will most likely marry a white woman, have children with white people. Let's be honest.
Bruv, my brother, you've made a statement. I've heard it for the third time, and I understand where you're coming from exactly. However, my brother, there's a lot that you miss out in your positioning. I was listening to you, and as I said, when you finished, there's a lot that I agree with you about, and there's a lot that I disagree with you about. Let's have a conversation as opposed to a yelling match. You see, when you speak about coming from Africa, I've been in this country since I was 3 years old. You understand? And I've traveled the world and I've seen the world from here. I travel back to Nigeria on a yearly basis. I have homes in Nigeria. I have a lot in Nigeria. I have a lot of investment there. My family is an old family. You see, I'm not here just mucking around. I've been investing my time doing something called UK Blacklist. Wait, let me give you an understanding. Let me give you a
I think
quick
Carla's supposed
understanding.
to speak, then me, then
No, please
Malatu,
don't
then
interrupt.
Icon, then Jagun.
I'm trying to
I'm
give.
you're just cutting people off.
No, I'm trying to give us a understanding that we should be having a conversation and not a shout
All right,
match.
hurry up then. Hurry up and pass it on. Hurry up
Yeah,
and
well,
pass it on.
just listen, and be, let the conversation has
I
begun
know, but
on a good
you're very
basis.
long-winded though, brother.
I'm
But go
not.
ahead.
I'm answering your questions so that we don't just point fingers because it's too easy. That's what we do all our life: is point fingers at each other, blaming and
Go ahead,
cussing, dragging
Jaga.
each other down. That's not what to do. What to do is to organize. This is what I'm trying to put across, and you're being triggered by small things that I'm saying. You need to understand that we in this world, we have to be positioned somewhere. The fact of the matter is, because we're all over the world, we're not just in England and Europe and the West, we're in the East as well. There's enough of us in Japan, enough of us in China. I know that because I go over there. All I'm trying to suggest to us is we need to be men at this point, real men.
Brother, do
And
you
we have to
realize,
understand that we're all coming from different levels. We're all coming from different
brother, do
levels.
you realize the same taxes
Okay, I
that you
think
pay
Carla
to
is
the
next. Then
UK,
I'm next.
you could be paying those same exact
Carla, jump
taxes
on.
to Nigeria to help fix Nigeria? Do you
You don't
realize
know
that?
what I'm doing. The
Carla,
thing is, you don't know
Carla,
who
you
I
there?
am.
Brother, you pay taxes to the UK government, brother.
You don't know that. You
Okay,
still don't know that. You have no idea.
Jagun.
Brother, if you didn't, they would have you in jail for tax
One mic,
evasion.
Hold
one mic.
on,
Jagun.
You don't know who I
What
am.
with the
You're just making
Malato? What
Okay,
with
laughable
the
statements.
Brother,
Malatu,
and it's the
why the
problem.
Malatu.
Y'all
hell
run
why
from
the
the
hell you
truth.
all try to talk below belt shit? What's wrong with you,
Yeah,
Malato? Be a
Malatu,
man.
one mic,
Nothing I
Don't
one
be
said
mic.
was
acting
Jagun,
like
below
a
the
one mic.
little
belt,
child.
brother. Nothing I said was
Talking
below the
about
belt. The point is,
people bank account and people at
exactly,
UK or
the
people in
same
Miami. Who
money
cares?
that you pay in taxes to the
Yeah,
UK,
listen, one
to
mic,
Canada, to the
one mic.
US, you could be spending that same tax
You don't
revenue
know what I'm
in
doing.
Nigeria.
You have no idea
That's
what
a
I'm doing.
fact.
And you have no idea of the Nigerian economy either. No idea.
I know that it's
Okay,
not
guys,
as good as the UK
guys.
economy. That's why you ran to the
You
UK.
I told you when I
Malato,
came here. You
why
can't
are
talk
you
about me
getting
running
in
here at
Brother,
3
you're
why
years
are
over
you
old.
50
getting
years
in
old
people
and you're
personal
trying to
life?
move back to
Malatu,
I
Why
Africa.
have
you
no idea.
coming
Malatu,
I have no idea
Malato?
Why
why
are
Malatu,
they're
can
y'all
I ask
acting
you a
triggered by
like
the
question?
truth?
Malatu, can I
Can I
ask you a
ask that?
question?
Why
Can I
y'all
ask
you
triggered
Malatu a
by the
question?
truth?
just tumbled the whole conversation.
Jagun,
Brother, what
Jagun,
I'm saying is
wait.
fact. If someone
Malatu,
has
do you
to
know
mute
how
up
many
because they're playing
percentage?
music, the point
Malatu, do you
is
know how
Yours
many
is not the only
the
percentage?
fact,
same.
my
Malatu,
brother.
You realize
Malatu,
every time I
do you
speak,
know how
you
many
interrupt me.
percentage of
Let me complete
Nigerians
a
outside
complete
Nigeria?
thought, brother, a
Malatu,
sentence. The
do you know
point
how many
is
percentage
the
of
same
Nigerians outside
exact tax
Nigeria? Do you
revenue
know?
that Africans in the US pay to the US government, pay to the Canadian government, pay to the
Malatu, do you
UK,
know how many
pay to
percentage
China,
of
pay to
Nigerians
Australia,
outside
pay to
Nigeria?
Italy, pay to
But
Spain.
you're
Don't you
Malato,
realize,
why you always with this
brother, why do
petty
you keep
argument,
interrupting me with the
Malato?
truve?
You
because
act
Why do you
like a
keep
little
interrupting me?
child.
I've not
Why do you
First
keep
of
covered.
all,
interrupting me,
you
brother?
Malato.
Ain't you from a
Yeah,
ain't you
because
from
you
a
keep
single ain't you
interrupting me,
from a
brother.
single parent home?
Why are you
Did your
triggered by my
did
truth,
your daddy
brother?
goddamn didn't
Malata,
take care of
All
you?
right, but why you
I
Malata,
know,
do you
I
know
triggered
how
know
by
who
many
my
I'm
truth,
talking to
percentage?
brother?
now. I know who I'm talking
Didn't your
Malata,
father
no, I
feed you
can Nanjagun.
spend
I
your
can
money
Nanjagun. You
wrong?
can handle him. Let me talk to him. Let me talk to him.
I
You
Why
have
can
you
What
handle
do you
him.
mean
gonna
I
why
can't
you
handle
gonna
him?
hold
I
talk
on,
can
talk
brother.
handle
What is
him.
you
personal
I
talking
to
know
him?
who
about,
he is.
No,
brother?
you can't. I know the guy. You can
Yeah,
handle
you're
him. No
I
man
dumb.
know
can handle him.
The
exactly
point
who
is
he
this,
is.
brother. The
Don't
Don't
tell
same
me
talk
what I
about
people
can
that
and
Malata, do
what
single
I
you
left,
know how
can't.
parents,
many?
man, and stop talking
Malata,
about people life. We come here talking to your
Malata,
politics. You're talking about
you
people
ran
personal
away
I
from
life.
Jamaica and you're
Who pay
triggered.
tax and who
I can
don't
do
pay
it in a
tax.
minute.
Exactly. You
I
Why
could
can.
be
you
in
bringing
Jamaica
It's a
paying
bringing the
brilliant
taxes,
point.
brother.
argument down to some little children
Brother, the
stuff?
Chinese took over the biggest port in Jamaica and you ran away. You ran to the US.
So what? The
Exactly. So why
Chinese
you
own
not
a
in
lot of land.
Jamaica?
Hold
Why
on. The
you not
Chinese
in
own
Listen,
a
you
lot of
Jamaica?
guys cannot
I'm
handle
asking you a
Malata,
question,
man.
brother.
the Chinese own a lot of land in
Exactly. So the
America.
question is, don't you
The
You
realize
Chinese
guys
own
cannot
a
there's
lot
handle
of
less?
land
Malata.
in America.
You go first. I go
The
next, brother.
Chinese
Go
own
ahead.
a lot.
Malata. Okay,
Hold on.
thank
The
you.
Chinese
Malata, do you
own
know how
a
many?
lot
No,
of
no,
Black
no. Malata, do you
American
know how many
land in
percentage of
America.
Nigerian are actually outside
So
Nigeria?
stop
Do you know?
talking.
Exactly. So the point
The
is,
2%.
I used to
Chinese
2%.
live in
own a
America.
lot of land in
2%.
America.
And I
2% of
didn't run
Nigerians
away.
Hold
are
on.
You
outside
ran
Nigeria.
away.
Hold on. Who owns Chinatown? Chinese have a whole town in
Exactly. I
America
agree.
called Chinatown. They don't
Exactly.
But
have no
Now
that's minor.
who owns the port of
That's
Kingston?
minor. That's minor. That's
You
Check
feel
minor.
this.
I
me?
can. That's minor.
The Chinese
That's
own the
minor.
port
I
of
can.
Kingston.
That don't
That's the
make no
biggest
sense.
port in your country, and you ran away, brother. Don't you
The
realize
Yeah,
that
Chinese
you
but
pay
control
taxes?
Jamaica now.
The
Don't you
Chinese
realize?
own a lot of farmland
Hold on,
and
but brother,
private land
why
in
you triggered by
America.
the truth, brother? Why you
You feel
triggered by
me?
the truth?
I think this.
Why
No,
you
why you
triggered
I
by the
think you
triggered?
truth?
guys
Why
are
you
making this
always come
show
with some
very, very
personal
fast.
stuff?
All right,
Like
so
you
allow me
wanna
to
come
complete
talk
the
about
sentence,
people's
brother.
family. You wanna come
Allow me
talk
to
about people's
complete the
family.
sentence, though,
And
brother. I
nobody
said
talk
nothing
about
about your
your single
family.
mom. You feel
I said
me?
nothing
This
Nobody
about
come
your
this
here and talk
family.
about your
this
single
show is
mom.
turning
So
into a
why you
real
come here
roadman
and
show today,
try to
My
be
mother is
just
personal
not
to
like
single.
people?
yesterday.
My mother's
You're
not
gonna talk
single.
about
My
the man
mother's not
English
single.
account. Why are you
Yeah, my
talking about the
mother's
man
not
English
single.
bank account and who the man pay tax to? Let's talk
Yeah,
big
roadman,
argument
wait
and
no.
Yeah,
stop
my
with your
mother's not
Yeah,
childish
single.
roadman, wait
behavior.
no
But the
man.
question
Yeah,
is,
roadman, wait no
don't
man.
you realize
Roadman,
if
wait no man.
Jamaicans, instead of fleeing Jamaica, if you would have stayed in Jamaica and paid taxes in Jamaica, you wouldn't have to sell your port of Kingston to the Chinese?
Jamaica is nice. Jamaica
And they
is
will not be
Yeah,
nice.
out there killing.
and
They
the
will not be
Chinese
out
own
there
the port
killing
of
black people
Kingston.
all over the West.
The
And the
port is a
Chinese own the port
strategic
of
move.
Kingston, brother.
Jamaica is
And
The
you
good.
will not be out
Chinese
Jamaica
own
is
there.
the
And
port
rich.
of
you
Kingston, brother.
nobody
If you're
and
rich, then
Jamaicans
why
will
do
not
the
be out there
Chinese
Jamaica,
own
killing
the
other
port of
Jamaica,
Kingston?
black
Jamaica
people
is
all over
good.
the West.
If
Can
Jamaica
you
is
see
Jamaica is
rich,
a
how
why
good
do the
this
Chinese
position
own the
to it.
port of
conversation
Kingston?
has descended?
And
Jamaicans not
If
Jamaicans
suffering.
will
Descended.
not
So
hold on,
if
one mic
Jamaica
at a
was a
time.
six-player
One
country,
mic at a
Jamaicans not
they
time.
will not be
suffering.
out
So
there killing other black
If
people.
Jamaica is
you can't
rich,
rag on Jamaicans because
I'm
we not
asking, if
suffering.
Jamaica is rich, why do Chinese
Malato
own
is
the port
right.
of Kingston?
Malato
If
is
Jamaica is
right.
rich,
Malato is making.
So why are you
check
joining
it.
him? Why
Yeah,
are you
I
joining
agree
him
with Malato.
like
mute
he's
up.
making? It's
I
The
not
agree with
point
making
is
him.
sense.
this:
It's
the
just making
same
He's
this
making
taxes.
sense.
conversation
He is
If
making
disruptible.
sense. No,
you
he's
hear these
making
hit
sense.
dogs
Do
holler
you know
when
why
No,
I'm
he's
just
not
Malato is
asking a
making no
making
simple
sense?
sense.
question? Don't
Do you
you
know why
realize
Malato is making sense?
He's only
of
making
paying
sense
these
to an idiot.
taxes,
I
instead
Ridiculous.
of
No,
agree
paying
with you
taxes
on
to these foreign governments, you could be
Africans.
you
paying
just don't
taxes
like
in
the
your
truth,
country.
man.
No, it's not the truth. There's a
Don't you
way to
realize that?
have discussions that you can
Okay, let the
hear.
man.
But can
Well,
anyone answer that
can
The
you guys
man's
be
question?
been talking
civilized and be
rubbish.
grown up?
You're
But can
talking that he's
anyone
Can he be
answer
grown
that
true.
up then?
question?
Can he be grown up and
Don't
let
you
one
realize
person
instead of
speak at a
paying
time?
taxes
I,
to
I'll be
European
quiet, man, because
nations,
this is
you
rubbish.
could be
This
paying
is all
taxes
rubbish.
to your African and Caribbean nations.
No, you
Don't you
saying
realize
the
that?
word rubbish make you look bad. Every time I hear you talk and then you say the word Nigeria,
If
it's
you're
like an
irritated,
Yeah,
oxymoron
you're
because you
irritated
sound
because you're
dumb.
don't let
half
them
You know
rub
man.
what
you
I'm
the
saying?
wrong
One, sit
You
way.
down.
over
Because
there
I got
got
I
your
got
you
it
over there got
understood.
your hands in your ass and your tongue
Exactly.
all up in
Exactly. Y'all
between
don't
your
even
ass.
wait.
And now you talking about
Y'all don't even
motherfucking
have toilets in
Nigeria.
your
It just
countries.
makes you
Idiot.
sound
Y'all
stupid.
don't
Every
even
time
have
you open your
toilets.
That
mouth
dirty
and say the
country.
word Nigeria in your
Yeah, y'all
in
don't
the
even
way
have
you talk.
toilets.
You
Y'all
sound
don't even
like
have
James
toilets in
Bond. You
Nigeria.
sound like motherfucking James Bond talking about
You got, you
Nigeria.
got,
You
you
sound
got to
like a
Why you
sound
not in
fucking
somehow.
clown,
Nigeria
bro.
building toilets for your cousins? Why you
You
not building
see,
One
toilets
at
for
a
your
time.
cousins in
all you
Nigeria?
are
Why you
just
ain't over there
idiots,
digging
mate.
boreholes, but you over there
Yeah,
eating
like
pig
and look, you
crumpets?
say I got y'all in the headlock. I'm just asking the same taxes that y'all pay to these European governments. Don't you realize that you could be paying those same taxes in Africa and the Caribbean, and the
But
Chinese wouldn't be
do
Yeah,
taking
you
over all
realize?
your
Yeah.
shit?
Tell me this.
And,
If tell me this. Tell me
and
if you
also, you're
realize
not going to
this.
be having any.
Tell me.
Also,
Wait, wait. Tell me
also,
if
you
you
want to have
You
some
didn't
realize
answer
this.
the
dirty
question,
road
Joe.
When
man
you
killing
come,
black
when
people in
you
the West
wait.
and sending them drugs.
When you leave a certain country
All right, but
and
you
you
answer the
fly
question,
to
brother.
another place and you're going to work and pay taxes, do you not see that there's a two-way happening there? There's a benefit for the individual who's been paid for the work and labor that he's doing, and is a
Brother, how
benefit
does
of
it
the
benefit you
country.
to abandon that
Hey,
How
hey,
it
spirit?
hey,
goes.
hey, hey,
That is simply how it goes.
I gotta pass the mic. I gotta pass the mic.
How do you allow all this rubbish to be spoken?
Hey, Jaco, I gotta pass the mic.
Pass the mic, man, because the brother is an
Okay, let me
idiot.
pass it to Maroon
hear the
Garu. Go ahead,
man, man.
Maroon Garu. Go ahead, Maroon Garu.
Can you respect the man? Can you respect the man? What he's saying to you? You want to
Y'all,
pass the mic?
I have passed the mic. Maroon Garu, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to say to the question, has socialism destroyed Africa? I would say no. What has destroyed Africa is the capitulation and the willingness to acquiesce to imperialism. As far as socialism is concerned, like
Yep.
capitalism, it's just a subjective system that depends on the people that are implementing it to be successful or not. The world right now wants Africa to be an extraction model. So any system that occurs, if you don't have the proper organization, is not going to be successful. And your direct success right now depends on whether you're going to capitulate with the current power structure, whether you're a socialist or a capitalist. So I
Yep.
think what really needs to be looked at, and what I come on here and say consistently, is until we deal with the sellouts and the capitulators within our society, we're not going to be successful regardless of what we do. There needs to be
How
a
do we
spring
do that?
clean. There needs to be a spring
Yeah.
cleaning within our race.
Stop
There needs to be a
interrupting.
Especially the mulatto Negroes.
No, stop interrupting.
there needs to
Stop
be a
interrupting.
spring. There needs to be a spring cleaning within our race. If people that willingly come out speak against our interests directly, there needs to be consequences. They can't be out here openly. There needs to be forums that let them speak so they can identify themselves. But once they're identified, there needs to be real consequences.
True that.
What about real conversation? What about the fact that we are trying to get something right that hasn't been gotten right for the last 400 years? And that should give us an understanding of the level of confusion within us as a people. Not point the finger, oh, it's every
But
one of us. Every one
No,
of us.
but
Wait there. I'm just answering the brother.
brother, may I continue? I didn't.
Oh, God.
I wasn't finished speaking.
They can't
No,
help
Oh my
for
themselves,
God,
real,
bro.
bro.
Continue
people
to
are
I'm
talk,
just
so
putting it
bro.
to
childish
you.
They
there,
can't
man.
help themselves, bro.
Hey,
Continue to talk.
Why did you?
let the brother Donor go ahead, brother. Go ahead and finish.
Please, please.
Like I was saying, there needs to be a spring cleaning within our people. I know it's tough because we have some weird disposition of where we sympathize with people that directly go against our interests and have been doing it for years. There's no excuse for these people to exist. Like I said before, until we make these tough decisions, it's not even until we make these decisions that we're not going to be successful. Like we said on here
Do
before, when it
you
could
think that we have a monolithic
God
Can you
interest?
please
damn,
stop?
bro.
Oh
Can you
my
Answer
shut
the
the
God,
question.
this
fuck up
guy.
and let that
Oh my
man talk?
I
days.
just want to talk more. Do
Ah,
you think that we have a
shut up.
monolithic
Damn, you act like
interest?
what you got to say is
up.
more important than what he
That was
got to
very
Wow.
say.
tough.
Why don't you just
I'm muting all you guys. Come on, man. Go ahead, Maroon.
Thank you.
like the example with China. When China had its cultural revolution, it eliminated all the collaborators that tried to work in tandem with the colonial powers that existed. Until you do what is necessary, you are always going to have a hole in your pocket. If you have a hole in your pocket, you're not going to be able to have anything settle in within your pocket. So I'll let somebody else speak because people want to
All right,
speak.
CD's
Thank
up
you for the
next. Go ahead,
platform.
Go ahead, CD. CD's up next. Go ahead, CD.
Hey, Dan and Sid, guys. So I
Hello, brother.
think, hey, yeah. So, I think socialism, it has some positive impact and also has some negative impact, right? Guinea is an example. When Sekou Touré was in power, he was working with the Russians and the Chinese. Even up to this time, there are villages where you see the Russians and the Chinese married to Guineans, right? But when he was there, they nationalized everything, the manufacturing industry, or the entire economic system was controlled by the government, right? But then he left a very good system in place. But the sad part is he put almost all his family member into power, even though he was Pan-African leader. But he eliminated a lot of politicians. He killed a lot of them because he wanted all his family members to remain in power. But then when he left, And the guy who came into power, he was a very illiterate military officer they call Lassana Conte. He came,
Lassana Conte, yes.
Lassana Conte, he caused a lot of damage to the country, right? Because he jumped into capitalism. He started working with the French. He closed down a lot of the government institutions that was functioning, that were manufacturing things. So pretty much he destroyed everything. So up to this time, Guinea has not recovered from that. Yeah, he put a very good system in place, but
It's the
at the
French
same
who
time, it
did it.
caused a lot of damage. But the only thing I don't understand about a lot of those socialist countries like Russia and Cuba, they are very racist country, especially Russia. So really would prefer working with the West than the Russians because they are very, very anti-blacks and the Cuban inclusive, especially the white Cubans. So I will remain there.
Very true.
It's on you, Carla.
Socialism really has nothing to do, like Khalid Muhammad says, when you go to any part of the world, if you go to the capitalist world, you'll see the white capitals on top, the black capitals on the bottom. Right? It says white communist country, you have the white communists on top, the black communists on the bottom. Same thing. You go to a Muslim country, you have the white Muslim on top, the black. So we're dealing with white supremacy and this idea of black inferiority. Until black race says we want black African, listen, let me just say it. Black African infrastructure. That means whatever the white man knows. What we need is like a revolution like Maria Theresa of the Habsburgs, right? Where she created these great libraries in Vienna, right? And gave people mandatory public education. She built libraries like as tall as a building of books, everything known knowledge to the world. You know, black people have this thing. If they only want to read like a Dr. Ben, or they only want to read fucking was it Dr. This person, Sheikh Diop right now. But when you talk about, I asked people like Frederick Schiller of the Schiller Institute, right? And he was a German philosopher. That's who I came up under. That's who a lot of philosophy I have right now about nation building, it came from him. Right? When you think outside the box, you find other philosophies around the world, like the Chinese and all these other people. They interpreted Western philosophies. Western philosophy interpreted Chinese philosophies of science, calligraphy, math, and studying everything. Till the black race gets to that point, right? What you call that point? That's part of the spellcast that college talking shit. No, because I talk and nobody listens. You know, don't blame me if you're ignorant and whatnot. The only thing you could do is post on YouTube and TikTok, and that's as far as educational. Get the fucking go to the library and get a book. You know what I'm saying is until we have an educational revolution, and when I know when I'm listening to people who are educated, you can't fool me. You know, I can tell when your references come from real thought and real deep, and it's been challenged. Right? There's a lot of things that I agree with. Right? That's been challenged to say, okay, I believe this, but let me go find an alternative viewpoint, right? And then sometimes I'll lose some of the stuff I believe, and I'll add some more stuff onto it, and that's how you get stronger. And that's how scholars get years, right? Until they perfected this thing called civilization. Civilization's ability to live civil in a society. Black race has
You
not.
are the one who. Oh, since you're talking about yourself, that means you're the
Can you
one
not
who knows
interrupt?
everything, right? That's
I'm
what
not
you mean,
saying
right?
that. I never said I
Well,
didn't.
be done
One
with the
mic,
self praise. Be done with the self
one
praise. We
mic.
don't
I'm
care
not
what
being.
you know.
I'm
Africa,
just
No,
Africa, it's on you, bro. It's on you, Africa.
background on myself. That's all I did.
Okay, thank you, Sim.
the point is you'll
I
never
You
mean,
want
I
fix
us
mean,
to
this.
praise
Africa
you
if
now?
you
You
keep
want us
running
to
away.
praise you now? Now that you know
Can
everything, you want us
No,
to
No,
praise you
I'm
now?
brother.
saying that,
No,
see,
brother.
this
it's
was
supposed to?
Chill,
this is
man.
Can you just
Negro
mute?
mind.
Can you guys mute? It's my
It's
turn
like
to speak. If you
this is
don't
what
mind,
they do.
please.
They think I'm trying to uplift myself. Well, that's a Negro mind, you know. It's
Now don't get lost on that,
Well,
Kyler.
stop talking about yourself
Okay.
and what you know. Who cares?
The point
Okay.
is you'll never fix
Yadman,
Africa
chill
if you
out.
keep fleeing Africa.
Okay.
You'll never fix
Right.
Jamaica if you keep fleeing Jamaica.
Okay.
Really,
It's my
that's the
turn now.
point.
1 second.
Nobody
Okay.
talking to
I mean,
you half white.
for
Nobody talking to you half
for you,
white.
Malatu.
This not even
I
none of your
can.
business. You have
And you see
you
how
have
I'm
I can
not
part
deal. I can
tripping
business
deal
though?
with him.
in Europe.
You see
Part
how
of
I'm
your
not
This
business
triggered?
show is
is
getting
in Europe.
pathetic.
I'm
It's
all black.
absolutely
But you see I'm
pathetic
not
of
triggered
grown-ass
though.
men.
You ran to a white country.
I'm not
Checkmate.
half black. I'm
Then why
fully
did you
black.
run to a white country?
So stop the
This
talking.
You
this
ran
this
to a
this, this
white
is
country.
looking like the
You ran
Yardy
away from
corner
a black
tonight, man. I'm
country
laughing.
Yeah,
to a white country.
we just
If you
have
was proud to be black, why you
plantation.
ain't stay in your black country?
Dennis, is my turn? Is it my
It's
turn to
called
If
speak
you
now?
was proud
plantation
to be black,
hopping.
why you didn't stay in your black country
Why
or
are
fix
we
it?
having
It's
this
called
stupid argument?
plantation
Please
hopping.
Let
stop.
him answer that though.
Please
Let him
stop.
answer that. Let him
Yeah.
answer that.
Can you
If
guys
you was
No,
stop?
It's
proud
Can you
to be
guys
called
stop,
black,
please?
why did you
plantation
abandon your black
hopping.
country?
We
fucking
just
hell.
have
Can you guys stop?
plantation, stupid. It's
Can you guys
hopping.
being a grown
It's
up?
And
Can
you
you
let the
guys
plantation
grow
Chinese
up
hopping.
and
take over
stop?
your black country in Jamaica.
Uh,
You
You
let the
don't have a
Indians take
point.
over your
Stop the
black
talking.
country in Jamaica because you ran
okay,
away.
okay,
You
okay. You
don't have
already
a
made that
point.
point.
If
Stop
you
the
was proud
talking.
to be black,
Malatu,
you would protect your
Malatu,
black territory, but you ran away.
Malatu,
You're a
Malatu,
coward.
Malatu. Okay,
So back to the
Malatu. One
focal
second.
point.
It's me.
You will
Malatu. It's me.
never
Out.
fix
It's
the
me. Out.
Caribbean if you
Malatu. It's
abandon
me
the
speaking.
Caribbean. You will
It's me.
never fix
Malatu.
Africa if you
It's
abandon
me
Africa.
speaking. It's me. It's
That's
me
the
speaking,
truth.
and it's my
Go
turn to
and
speak.
find your white daddy.
My
Oh
father's a
God.
mulatto. Checkmate.
This is the problem. When when
You
when
can
when
never
people
trigger me.
when educated
You're
people are coming
triggered by
to
the
speak
truth.
about
I'm not.
important stuff, then you got
Go
illiterates
fix your
shouting
country. Go
like they're
fix your
actually in a
shithole.
corner.
Respectfully.
This is turning to some like roadman chat,
Go
man. This
fix
is
your
like
white family.
ridiculous.
My
Okay,
family's
let
mulattoes.
Malatu do
Checkmate.
Go fix
Mulatto.
the
Okay,
white side.
Mr. White man,
You
Mr.
can't hurt my
I can,
feelings
I
like your
can,
feelings are hurt.
I can.
Really.
Have
You
some
can't
respect,
feel.
man.
You
And you're
can't
not the
hurt my
focal point. Let me
feelings.
just say this to the listeners, really. And
No,
I'm
you
not
can't.
hating
No,
on
you
nobody.
can't.
I'm
You
not
You
already.
hating on
you
the
can't hurt
Caribbean.
my
You've
feelings.
been.
I'm
No,
not
you
hating on
can't.
the Caribbeans. I'm not
Nah,
hating on
man, nah,
You
anybody.
man.
hurt.
Uh,
You hurt. That's why you still talking. You
All
hurt.
right, brother. All right.
Dennis, do a
Can
job,
we
man. Do a
respect the
job
Well,
of this,
platform?
man.
allow
This
me
is
to
There was an
complete the
rubbish.
sentence,
order.
though.
I think the brother
Let me
Africa
complete the
Africa
sentence.
was trying to
I'm
speak.
not
Can we
hating
just
on
have
Yeah, yeah,
Caribbeans.
respect
I'm
go,
for each
go,
asking
other?
go, go
people
ahead
to
after,
answer.
go ahead after Africa's turn. Go ahead.
Fucking hell,
Oh
man.
God,
All right.
God,
Well,
God.
y'all just go fix
Thank
your
you.
countries or watch the Chinese take over.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For you,
Really.
Malatu, let
If
me
you
just
don't
begin
fix your
with you,
country,
okay?
then
Go
Oh
ahead
my
after.
God, can you meet him? Thank you. Do you know how many percentage of Nigerians out of 250 million that actually are living
is he
outside
talking? I can't
Nigeria?
hear him.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you, man. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Sim, it's 2 million out of 250 million. The majority of Nigerians live in Nigeria, never left. Majority of them are hungry, illiterate, never travel anywhere. They're very insular. Okay. So, Malato, you're wrong in that aspect. I understand that the diaspora, us the black people in the West, I'm employing people in different countries. I'm not going to be sitting here bragging because that's very low key. Okay, we actually stay here for a reason. Okay, and I'm always in Africa. I'm employing people in Africa. Yeah, I got my own roots. My family have done so much in two different countries in West Africa in building educational institutions, enabling people because that's what we need as people to actually move forward. Okay, and basically, what we don't understand is we are not the same as others. Every race out there are fighting to benefit their own, and we are not going to hate them for that. Okay, we live in the West. We're benefiting from the Western imperialism. You know, Absolutely, no doubt about it. I mean, we can come and talk about this one way or another in a different way.
They're
Yeah.
benefiting from us.
Yeah, and also they're benefiting from us by extracting, by enabling having to have cheap resources from the continent, and colonization. But it's not their fault. This is how the world operates. Yeah, is whoever have the upper hand will dominate you. And we in Africa we are more focused on tribalism, tribal superiority, and regionalism, and so on. And someone said earlier about us in West Africa, which who is us? As I said earlier, a few days ago, us in the far west, we don't want to associate ourselves with people that engage in dividing, themselves and tearing themselves into pieces based on religion and tribalism. We don't want to engage that because we are way ahead of that. And I think the example of what the AES is doing, they're showing a good example of that. They're actually trying to make sure they stay away from all this tribalism and regionalism that you see, and they're trying to build a block, different countries. And also, as my brother Sidi was saying, in Guinea is a good example of communism or socialism to capitalism. I mean, Ivory Coast next door, there was more involved in capitalist economy. Sekou Toure went to the Russians, okay? And Guinea is still one of the poorest countries in West Africa, even though they're actually catching up with loads of countries as we speak. But
But
it
it's
just
not
shows
real. It wasn't real capitalism.
what was in real capitalism.
What they transformed into in Guinea was not real capitalism,
So you're not
because
listening.
you
You're
you
not
could
listening
not.
to me. I
Don't
said
listen to the
socialism.
guy.
This
Don't
this
listen
no
to
no
him.
no no. You can't interrupt me. Okay. So I'm
No,
talking
you
about
said they
socialism. No,
changed from
I said in
socialism.
Guinea. Yeah.
You said they changed from
No. I said
socialism when the other
compared to
guy.
Ivory Coast.
Hold
You need
on.
to
Can you listen to
clean
the
your ears
brother?
and
He didn't
listen.
say that.
As
All right.
this is like some
All
Jamaican
right.
corner, selling weed and arguing and fighting and shit like that. I don't. This is roadman talk. I got away from this shit
Yeah,
long
but
time ago,
I'm
man.
not fighting. I'm not
What is
fighting.
wrong
I'm
with
cool.
you? The same guy that was saying
No,
yesterday
I mean
insulting Fulani
he just triggered
when
because I asked
Jamaicans
him
are
to
all
know if
over
he
the
was
world killing
Jamaican,
black
man.
people in all the urban cities,
That's
and
all
you have
that
the
is.
guts to
Yeah,
come here and
but
talk about
Al,
my
I
tribe.
said I'm
It's
cool. I said
disgusting.
I'm cool. Al, I didn't.
Yeah, but
I
you've been hurt.
misunderstood.
You've been hurt this whole discussion, bro.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
it's just not
Al,
right. No,
continue.
okay, no.
Continue.
Okay, thank you. So Ivory Coast is a good model compared to Guinea. Guinea actually practiced socialism and communism for that matter, and they failed badly, woefully. Ivory Coast is where everyone ran to. Most people in Guinea, as soon as Sekou Touré took over, he imposed all these things on people. Everyone ran to Ivory Coast. They went to Senegal because they realized it's not sustainable. People were poorer. The road, if you look at the road networks in Guinea, it's very low compared to other West African countries. In fact, even Sierra Leone, before this guy in Guinea came to power, you can drive all the way to the Guinea border in Sierra Leone side of the Sierra Leone side, all the way to the Guinea border with let you clean decent roads. As soon as you enter the Guinea border, there was no roads. Okay, so it's a good example. So what I'm saying is we cannot dispose any of this topic about capitalism, socialism, and so on if you do not build good road networks. Um, you have 24-hour electricity and also educate the population, right? And these multinational corporations also, who are the father of capitalism, are not going to invest in your country if you do not get these things right. So we need to look at these things first before we talk about capitalism and socialism, what model fits us. You need to look at your own home. If you do not have a decent home, no one is going to want to come and live there or even rent it or buy it.
What about restructuring? That don't have nothing to do with anything. IMF
Restructuring in
restructuring.
what sense? Restructuring in what
IMF
sense?
IMF economic restructuring in the
Yeah,
in the
that's
in the
dumb. That's dumb.
1980s.
That's dumb. That's
But bro,
dumb.
you're
Countries
being
should never go.
disingenuous.
Yeah, but
Yes.
Yeah,
it was
I
enforced.
okay.
What the
Hold
brother
on.
is saying?
What I'm saying is it was enforced on African countries in
No, it
which they
wasn't.
had to
You wasn't forced to take
withdraw
loan. No one
funds.
forced Africa to take loan. Nobody forced Africa to
Yes.
take loans. Who
You're
forced it?
saying what?
What
What?
Africa
Who
is
You're
forced it?
saying
saying?
the IMF you're saying the IMF did not force loans?
They
Really?
drove themselves into
The
poverty. They
Africans
drove
didn't have to
themselves
take them
into
loans.
corruption. Yeah, they drove themselves into corruption and poverty and all kind of rubbish stuff. Where they desperately have to go to IMF to borrow money. If they got their home right, they didn't need to do that. Okay,
I'm
What
not gonna
Africa
so
is
blame
saying? I think Africa, what he
I'm
said
not
is
gonna blame the
definitely true
I'm not
because.
gonna I'm not gonna blame
mm,
the Africans
Oh
for
my
that,
God.
because you see, if the
I do.
African
I am
did not,
African and
hold
I'm
on,
blaming.
wait, wait,
This is a
one
problem.
second,
Go on. But make it
hold
very
on,
quick.
outlaw, wait,
Very
outlaw.
quick.
If if there was no gold or no diamonds, and it was
Mm,
just empty ground in those
mm,
countries that
mm,
failed, right? If
mm,
they failed without, and they had nothing except little water, and they can
mm,
plant food, right? If they
mm,
still failed, then I would blame them. But if they are rich under the ground and have stuff under the ground and they failed, there's no way I'm
yeah.
blaming none of those
Do
leaders.
you know the most developed? Do you know the most
Why did they
developed
let the
countries in
foreigners
West
take their
Africa? Hang on, the
resources?
most developed countries in West Africa are the countries with less
Because
mineral resources in the ground. Okay, 1 second. Ivory Coast don't mine. The mining companies in Ivory Coast is very low. Ivory Coast don't extract minerals. They rely on
Fact,
agriculture. Okay,
fact.
Senegal don't rely on
Yeah, but
minerals.
Ivory
They
Coast
use human
only
capital
Abidjan,
development to develop
only
their country.
Abidjan,
Oh my God,
only
this
Abidjan is rich.
yard man is doing my head in. This
But
yard man is
but the
just,
thing
Sorry,
is,
let's
sorry.
just
Go
stop.
ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go.
So
Long
you need
winded.
to look at
You long
Africa.
winded. Go ahead.
I'm done. I'm done. You
The
guys
reason why
I'm done.
Africa is the reason why Africa is advanced is, first of all, these other West African leaders, they all steal money to go invest in Ivory Coast. I have property in Ivory Coast in Abidjan. I have property in Conakry, Guinea. Right. If you look at Dumbuya right now, he buying a lot of properties in Abidjan. See with
But
Macky
Let
brother,
me
Sall.
ask a
but
let,
brother,
let
the
me ask
part
a
that's being
question.
missed. Hold on,
Let me
the
Let me
part
ask
that's
finish.
a
being
question.
Okay,
but
go
hold
on.
on. The part that's being missed is that you have Africans living outside of Africa pretending that they genuinely care about the future of Africa, but they will
Oh
never move back to
Lord.
fix Africa. Same with the Caribbean. They live outside of the Caribbean. They pretend to be concerned about the affairs in the Caribbean, but they will never move back to the Caribbean permanently to help fix the Caribbean.
I'm more
Really,
concerned with Africa than the
you're
Caribbean.
virtue signaling. You're virtue signaling.
I'm actually more concerned about Africa than the
But
Then
Caribbean.
why
it's a
won't you
lot
go
of
live
people.
there?
It's a lot of people that's concerned about Africa, but ain't stepping not one foot
Exactly.
over there.
They ain't
It's a
not
lot of
going
people
over there.
that's
They
concerned.
not
Hold
moving
on,
over there.
Claude, I'm on your side on this. Hold
You
on,
don't know
Claude.
where I've
There's a
been.
lot of
You
people
don't know where I've
there's a
been.
lot of people that's concerned about Africa, that Burkina Faso, but not touching base. Ain't now one of y'all networking with Cuddy.
Yeah,
I
you
would
don't
love
know.
for Cuddy. I would love for Cuddy to come up here and tell me, out of all these goddamn Caribbean dirty wine, curry goat, iguana eating black folks, and these goddamn biscuits, and got motherfucking the queen on their wall, goddamn talking about Burkina Faso in Africa. Tell me one of them has reached out to you and you own the motherfucking ground. But let me ask you this, Cuddy. This is a direct question to you. Do these dudes spend more time talking about we in Africa and Nigeria, West Africa, and Burkina Faso, or have they any of them reached out to you and said, hey man, you on the ground, you know what I'm saying? We can network with you, we can support you in any type of way you do it. Have any of them reached out to you that's talking about they ready to die and ready to fight and ready to build missiles
Yeah.
and ready to build drones and do all this special stuff from America
Right.
and West America countries? Have any of them reached out to you with any type of support?
Have they sent food?
I
Have
spent most
they
of
at
my
least
time in
sent
Bro,
food?
Africa.
they can't comprehend economics. That's why this is a great topic today, because that's what we need
But
to
I
be on.
spent
See,
80% of
me
my
and you,
time
bro,
in
we
Africa,
about getting money.
right?
You know, these
It's
folk ain't
one
about
thing.
independent
It's
being
one
bosses.
thing.
They
I
about
never
being
come back.
workers.
It's one
My
thing.
advice to
I
Diners,
never
You know
come
what I'm
back
next time
from
we're
saying?
having
Africa.
a topic about economy, we should
It's
They
one
ain't
select
even
thing.
send
I
no
our
never
boss.
rice.
come back from Africa and
Because
talking about
it seems like
how
you
things
guys are not
dirty
qualified
and
They
to
ain't
how
talk
send
about
how
y'all
the
no
how
subject.
rice.
things is dirty.
But what I'm
It doesn't
saying,
matter.
not all of
I
us.
don't go. I don't
You
go to.
ain't doing
I don't go to
a
Africa
damn
to
thing but sending your
discriminate on the
drunk
people.
ass. You need to leave that ROM alone because you ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
You ain't doing shit but sitting up there talking about who you support and who you blame. That's what females
Thank you,
do. Sit
Tim.
up there like, I blame this
No,
person. I
all you
blame
do.
this person. You ain't doing a goddamn thing. You
But
ain't
all you
doing
Thank
do
nothing.
is.
you.
You ain't
But all
networking.
you do is
You
sit
get what
here
I'm
and.
saying? Let me
Yeah,
explain
but all
something
you
to you,
do is.
Icon Fire. Let me explain something to you. I got
Yeah,
three
but all
handlers
you
over
do is
there
sit here and eat
who I
burgers
help
and talk.
goddamn with their
Yeah,
monthly
Thank
wages
you,
and help
Tim.
them survive. I help
yeah,
black
but
brothers
all you do
become
is
entrepreneurs.
eat
The only thing that
burger
your
and talk.
drunk ass do, you and that goddamn clown ass Darren, both of y'all Jamaican body boys sit up here and always just sit up here and got all this advice about everything else. Now one of y'all ain't stepping foot over there. Now one of y'all ain't gonna bust a grape. Now one of
Exactly.
y'all ain't gonna kill nothing and let nothing die. You got that
What
brother
you gonna
right
do?
there in
What
Bikini
you gonna
Faso
do?
right
What
now.
you doing?
Y'all can
What
goddamn
you doing?
support his business,
What
whatever.
you doing?
But y'all are the smartest. But it
What
shocks
you
me.
doing? What
It
you doing?
shocks me that these Jamaicans,
What
these
you doing,
Caribbeans
fat
are the
boy?
smartest
What you
people
doing, fat boy?
online living in
What you
America.
doing?
Living
What are
in
you doing,
America.
big fat boy? Except eat burger over here. What are you doing, big fat boy?
Say
Except eat
that
burger over
again.
here. Huh? You
Hold on
can't
for a
join
second,
no
I can't
army.
fight.
You can't join no
Hold on
army.
for a second.
You need
How
to
do you
lose.
know how
You
I
need to
look?
lose about.
I
You
can't
need to
fire
lose
you.
about
I can't
200
fire you.
pounds
I
to join
can't fire
to
you. Let me
fight
ask you a
anything.
question, bro.
You
Let me
need
ask
to
you a
lose
serious
about
question.
200 pounds to
How
fight
the
anything.
fuck do
You
you
can't
know
fight
how
no
I
more.
look?
What are
Have
you
you ever
doing over
seen me?
here?
Have you
Except
ever
eating
seen me
pure
before I
burgers.
can't fire you? Stop doing the curry goat babble
Yeah.
for a
Well,
second.
what are you
Have
doing
you
over
ever
here?
have you
Except
ever
eating
seen
pure
me in
burgers
your
and
life?
talk.
No, answer the question, curry goat babbling ass boy. Have you ever seen me in your life?
Yeah, of course. You're a big old fat boy.
No.
That's what
Okay,
you is.
tell me right now. I got
You're about
$3,000
300
in my
pounds.
pocket. I got
You're about 300
$3,000 in my
pounds.
pocket right now. You tell me when you see me. Tell me.
You're about 300 pounds in a wheelchair. Shut the hell up.
Now,
Guys, you're
one
relaxing. You're
more
relaxed,
time.
man. It's
One more
enough,
time
bro.
before you act like, because you acting like the hoe that raised you. I got $3,000
Yeah.
right here. Tell me when you see me, I can't fire. When? When have you ever seen me? When have you ever seen
You
a
can't.
picture of me? When?
Yeah, you can't.
Thank you,
You
Sim.
can't do
Thank
no
you.
fight. You can't do no fighting. You need to lose
Bro,
about
I ain't said
200
nothing
pounds.
about fighting. Stop pushing the
Yeah, so
goalposts, you curry goat eating ass boy.
you can't come to Africa with
Stop
us because
clowning yourself, boy.
we in
I
fighting
asked you
mode.
a simple question. You sit up
You
here and
can't come
goddamn,
to Africa
you
with us.
want to goddamn correct everybody up here. I'm asking
Yeah.
you a
So what?
question
And
right
why
now.
bothers you?
When
So
have
what?
you
So
seen
what?
me?
So what?
When you
So
don't know
what?
me, boy.
Huh?
You ain't never
You
seen
don't
me
know me
before in your
either.
life.
You don't know me either, big pussy
Yeah,
boy.
and since I don't know you, I would never sit up here and talk
Yeah.
about how you look because I ain't seen you, boy.
Yeah.
But for some
Yeah.
reason,
So be quiet. So be quiet. Don't
some
talk about
feminine
me.
Jamaican
Don't talk
that's
about
broke
me.
as hell in
Shut
America
the
is
hell up.
gonna tell me about me. Why you sit up here and got all this vice? I
You a
tell you
little
what,
twisted character.
scrape up some of that coconut money and goddamn take your ass over there to
You a
Bikini
fake
Faso. You
comedian.
ain't doing
You
a
a fake
goddamn
comedian.
thing in America. And
You a
the
Time
only
at the
reason
beach.
why anybody know who you are because he give you a platform to talk up here. You ain't doing
Right.
a
Nobody
goddamn
Right.
don't know
thing,
me.
boy.
You a
Right.
You ain't
wannabe
doing. Tell me
comedian.
what you're doing, Icon Fire. Tell me how you help out the black community. Tell me how you help out the Jamaican community.
One
Tell
second.
us.
Guys, shout out to City for the $20.
Yeah. Big wannabe
Oh, you
comedian.
welcome, man.
Be
Dennis, we
quiet.
got to promote you,
And then
bro. We got to
JC, thank you
promote you.
JC, thank you for $4.99 holler. Socialists can be capitalist in capitalistic countries. However, capitalists can be socialist in communist nations. That's why capitalism is better. All right, there we go.
Guys,
But
guys,
you
just
got
release
these
some money.
clown ass Caribbeans. You
You
got
can't be
these
talking your whole
clown ass
day and no
Caribbeans
contribute to your
eating
brother, man. You got
iguanas
to
and
support the brother.
goddamn doing absolutely nothing, but always got some advice to say. And with they shitty ass country that's ran by Chinese people,
Hey,
these
yo, he said
clown ass
eating
sitting up there
iguana.
talking about the Chinese running the ports and goddamn Jamaica is strategic. What type of clown bate boy shit is that? You giving up your ports to another country is nothing strategic like that. That's you booting up. That's you putting your dreadlocks in the ground and putting your ass in the air, boy. You don't know nothing about
Hold
economics.
on.
You don't know nothing about
He,
transportation. You don't know nothing
he
about
actually got
economics. You
he
don't know
actually got
nothing about
dreadlocks as well.
logistics. You a clown,
Simple.
Acorn Fire, and I'm telling you that from
God
the
bless you,
heart, boy.
Sim.
Fat boy.
God
You
Shut
bless
up.
ain't
you,
on my
Sim.
level.
God bless you,
You
Sim.
don't help out nobody at all. You sit up here and talk about like you ready to fight and you ready to die from America.
Sheesh.
That shit is
Yeah, yeah.
clownish
You
when black people
yeah,
talk like that.
Embarrassing,
If
isn't
you
it?
ain't ready to
Embarrassing.
support,
ain't
if you
nobody
can't
gonna
fight,
argue
the
with
next
you.
thing is
Ain't
just to
nobody in no
support.
argument
I'm
with
just
you,
tired
bro.
of these clowns
Be
doing
quiet,
that shit.
man.
They've
Shut
been
your
coming up
mouth.
on this channel
Be
all
quiet.
this time. I got all this vice and no support. I support my brother every time I step on this platform. And you know what?
Right,
The
right.
craziest thing I ever heard was somebody came up on Dinah's show and said, "Hey, Dinah, do I have to salute your platform?" No, you don't have to salute the platform. But when you walk in somebody's motherfucking house, you speak. You recognize the
Right,
house, man.
Show
That's
right,
respect.
just respect.
right.
Yep.
That's
I agree.
respect. It ain't
I
that
agree.
it's
I agree.
demanded. It ain't if
Yep.
that is demanded. It ain't demanded that you say yes, sir, and no, sir, to your elder, but it's a respect thing. And I'm gonna respect my
Right,
brother platform. I ain't gonna come
I
up here
got
and
right.
spew
some
all
Thank
this
you.
respect
shit
for
and
the
not
man.
support. I'm
Shut
just
your
tired
mouth
of
and
these
have some
clowns,
respect
bro.
for the man.
panel.
God bless you,
Shut your
And
King.
this
mouth
guy
God
and
bless
and
let
you,
this
brother.
guy
Forrest
this
put
guy
him on
doing a
the panel.
lot for this guy
You
doing a
jump on
lot
this.
for
You
Africa.
jumping
Daniel
on
is
this
doing a
as if
lot for
anybody come
Africa,
on your panel. Ain't nobody come on your panel. Shut your mouth and be quiet on the man panel and let it go on.
Yeah, I can. Shut your
That's
mouth now.
it.
Let the next man speak.
The
Come on.
whole thing is Daniels do a lot for Africa, and it's a shame of Nigerians that they don't give this guy that much support. And he get almost 50% of his time to the Nigerians. I never yet Nigerian come here and promote
I
this guy
noticed
and
that.
contribute to his shows. It's so sad,
No, I mean Southern Nigerians though as well.
Let me pass the mic to Wall Street
Sleeping
Willie. Go ahead, Willie.
giant.
Go ahead, Willie.
I wanted to respond to something that was said earlier, but we're in the middle of a deep one, so I'll wait another round.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Hey, I'm calm, bro. I'm just speaking the facts. I'm calm. Just got, say your piece, man. I understand where you're coming from, right? Especially as a Black American, but I'm just not that inclined to, press my brothers like that. But I'm understanding where your energy is coming from. So my question
Go ahead, Wall Street. Go ahead.
my question for you would be,
Uh,
so what's the solution, right? Like, do
I,
we
I got you.
disengage? Do we
I got you.
disengage from our people on the continent, or it's gonna sound crazy, but do we participate in a level of colonization over there? Because when I look over there, I see a lot of opportunity.
I can answer that question real well. The only thing that can help out black people in America is entrepreneurship. Because that's the only thing that the federal government respects. Wall Street Willie. Wall Street is black people are a professional employee class, aka we just uppity slaves. That's all we do. We clock out, clock in, race to the time card, spend our money, talk shit, worship white Jesus, put our ass up in
Right.
the air like bitches and praise Allah, and then go back to
Yeah.
work and make a white man rich.
Now here's what
You
I
get what
gotta
I'm saying?
respond to
So,
that,
so what I'm
right?
saying? So this is the only thing that I say, Wall Street, is that for black people in America, the only option, the only thing that I can do for black men is to help them to be entrepreneur. Dinus,
I got you.
I forgot the other guy's name. It's about 6 of them. They all know that I go over there in the roughest neighborhoods in Atlanta, try to get brothers to be entrepreneurs because the women ain't gonna do it. The women love
But
white
wait,
men.
here's the problematic
Simp.
part in that
Simp. Are
argument,
you saying you're
right?
getting this boys off the
Here's
street that I
hold on,
can
hold on,
put
hold on.
there?
You say what now,
So
Wall
here's
Street?
the problematic part in that argument for me, right?
Hold on, you
Uh,
was
Being
better
an
for
employee,
America than
hold on.
Marcus
Being an
Garvey, right?
employee in America, right? Hold on, let me talk to my American brother for a second. Being an employee isn't synonymous with being a slave, right? I don't agree with that at all, right? Like with my level of employment, right? Not only is it extremely beneficial, but also I could quit this job whenever I want
True.
and go choose to work for someone else, go choose to be an entrepreneur, but it's not slavery, right?
But that's what you call rugged individualists, Wall
It's
Street. Now you
technically.
answer this question. Answer this question before you go to the next point. How many black people are out of 45 million black people? How many are in your position? You just repeat what you just said. Your last 8 words. What you think is the percentage of black people in that position of your last 8 words you just said?
In my circle, 75%, right?
No,
And I'm
that's you.
trying to, no, I get
Right?
your
You being
question.
just
I
you
promise
being
you I
you
understand your
just
question,
dodged the
bro.
question, bro.
I
You just
promise you
dodged the
I
question.
understand your question.
But hold
If
on,
you're
but please
asking, so
answer it then.
I'll get right to the point you're making.
Okay.
If you're asking nationally, no. Most blacks aren't doing as well as I'm doing, right?
Right.
But in my circle, right, from not being a slave, I can now empower other black men to have careers that will feed their family, right? I
I
can help
agree.
them get employed in these spaces that I've gotten to. And me being in the spaces I'm in, right? It wasn't slavery. It wasn't me being forced. I literally had to fight to get through those
Right.
doors.
Right.
So that's my only point, right? Like, no, employment isn't slavery, especially in America, right? Employment is a choice.
because the position that you in Wall Street, you don't see it as slavery. But I know plenty of black people that see
I get your
working in
point.
slavery. Hold on, let me say this
I'm
real
not gonna
quick.
pretend like I don't get your
I
point.
got
I
you, but I
understand what
want
you're
for the
saying.
people that's listening, because you got to remember we got an audience also. I know plenty of black people that wish that they had somebody that could give them a hand up. They wish that a black person would come out their office in their goddamn $500,000 house and give them a hands up. But the funny thing with most black people, Wall Street Willie, we don't help each other. We love looking down on each other. We black people stand on each
Right.
other more than I've been
Right.
around with rich white people and rich redneck white people at the same time. And I'm
The
telling
only
you this, they don't, hold on, let me say this. They don't separate when they in groups. They don't sit over there and look at the redneck, because they see the redneck as somebody that can work their company. They see the rednecks and they can put up a small business in Sticker Bra, Arkansas. They don't look down.
Right.
But black
I
people,
Right.
gotta totally
we ain't
disagree with
giving.
that
We
though.
let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get a mic back to you. The reason why black people we're gonna fail is for the simple term: is the game is to be sold, not told. No other group of people talks like that to their own people, but black people.
Right.
So I do get your point, right? But first off, to white people being so united, I never can respect that argument, right?
No,
Like if
no,
you
they're
look
not
at them,
united.
hold on, hear what I'm saying. If you look at America, right, you have just in the duopoly, Democrats and Republicans. These are all white men that control these parties. So clearly, they're not even fully aligned, right?
No, they don't. Wall Street Willie, the thing that you don't understand about these Democrat and Republicans that you think they're not in line, it's almost like, let me give you a good example. Say for instance, we got the two most popular soccer footballs heads owners. They sit up there and act like when they out there on the field in the stadiums when they playing against each other, they act like they hate each other. While the people in the crowd sit up there and fight against each other, hell out
Right.
slurs, fight, kill. But you know what? When they go to each other countries, they sleep at each other's houses. That's what the owners
Right.
do. The owners go to
Right.
the bed and breakfast in these multi-million dollars estate.
But here's
They
the
do the
thing.
thing. Hold on. Let me bring it back to America. You got the motherfucking Cowboys and the motherfucking Eagles. Sit up there, they hate each other. You got the Atlanta Falcons and the goddamn New Orleans Saints. They hate each other. What does the owner, what do you think the owner sleeps at when he come to Atlanta? He sleeps at the owner of the Falcons extra house on his property, while the low people sit up there and buy jerseys, fight each other, and goddamn kill each other. You don't never see the owners. How many times you don't see Arthur
But
Blank,
I
who the
think
owner of the Falcons, wearing a jersey? How
so.
many
Here's
times you
the
don't see
thing.
the owner of the Eagles wearing the Eagles jersey?
I
It's only
got
the
you.
broke people that sit up there and fight and kill
I
to
got
kill
you. I
each other.
got you. But wait, there's
Them
two elements
senators
you're
eat
leaving out.
together, they vacation together,
Hold
bro.
on. Hear me out.
Their kids go to the same
Hear me
schools.
out.
You make a lot
There's
of sense,
two
Sim. I
elements.
agree.
There's two elements you're
So,
leaving out. One,
so
there are a class of blacks, right, that are in the vicinity of those owners, right? We know with the NFL and NBA, there's really no black owners, right? So I'm not going there with it, but I'm just
True.
saying there are powerful blacks in that
There are.
vicinity. On the other side, when you talk about this ownership and these players and this underclass, guess what? Way more than black people will ever be, white people are in that underclass. That's a fact,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those Jerry Jones is not concerned with a toothless white man in a trailer park in Dallas.
But hold on for a second. Now
No.
let me stop you right there. But you want me to tell you what Jerry Jones do though? He
Right.
support them goddamn the building these goddamn multi-million-dollar stadiums, them goddamn small stadiums for them to do their tractor trailer pulling. Who you think supporting that? See, one thing about it is I noticed that a lot of rich people, they might not go to NASCAR, they might not go to monster truck pulling, they might not go to the pig slapping, all these goddamn organizations, but look at those facilities.
So let
They
me
are
put it
clay.
this way
Hold
for you,
on,
bro.
this is what I'm telling you.
Hold on,
What I'm telling you,
real
they
quick, because you
put
cut
their
me off.
money.
Real quick, because you cut me off, right? Let me put in perspective for you how I think, right? Being an American, we have very different terms on what dictates our power structure, our lives, right? And it gets even more difficult when you segment yourself into just being a black man. Now, I'm a black man first, but I'm also a part of America, right? Like, some people would say, and I hate saying this because the dude that said it was a goofy, but in America, so goes the cracker, goes the Negro, right?
True.
So,
Tethered.
what
Tethered.
benefits, hold on, what benefits this country, right? Depending on where you are as a black man, it may potentially benefit you. So, because where I'm at in life, yeah, America doing well is a benefit to me. And my goal is to pull as many black people in as I can. So, I'm going to land here by saying this. One of the criticisms people like myself will get is people will say you've moved to a white community, right? No one will ever say about me, I'm gentrifying white communities, right? Because no one says to the white man that moves into Harlem and buys property, right? No one says you're moving into a black community because you want to be black. No, the understanding is gentrification. They're gentrifying. So my response is always no. I'm gentrifying gated white HOA communities, and I'm trying to bring in as many black people with big bell pepper noses that I can into this
Yeah, but
community.
Wall Street Willie, you're not gentrifying. Gentrifying is changing the stat. You're not changing
It
anything
starts
just
with
by
me,
moving
bro.
over there.
If I make you my next door neighbor,
No,
let
no,
me
that's
bring
it. Well,
Dynas in
I
from
thought
there.
I thought you were smarter. That's not gentrification. Gentrification is when you come into a neighborhood. That means you change the whole landscape
Correct.
of the neighborhood. Hold on, Wall Street Willie. I ain't interrupt you at all.
No, I'm
Yeah,
agreeing with you.
the floor when you come when they come right here right now. I'm from Bankhead. You know what I'm saying? They tore down these apartments. They tore down these apartments that was people was out there paying $5 or $8 a rent. The goddamn the stores, the business right now was goddamn rat infested, gang infested, everything. As soon as the white people came in there and built up these $300,000, $500,000 houses, everything
They price it
changed.
out. They price it out.
Everything
They price
branched
it
out.
out.
The type of
Yeah.
stores in the area. They brought goddamn grocery stores in the area. They brought pharmacies in the area. There was no pharmacy in that area when I lived over there. You had to go all the way
Same,
downtown
Yeah,
to the
me and mine are trying
hospital.
to do that.
So what I'm
same, and
saying is
also,
that
yeah.
that's gentrification when you change the landscape in a 40 block. I mean a one 40 acre territory. You get what I'm saying? Like that's 40 acres
Right.
is the equivalent of one city block. When they come through and set up shop, they changing everything. They got a block. If
So
you go
everything
into
you said was
downtown and
right,
look at
right?
it on
Everything.
the thing, what I'm
Hold on.
saying is
Everything you
everything is
said was
built
right,
and
right?
planned.
Hold on. Everything
Okay,
you
let's
said
You're
was
pass the
not
right.
mic
But
now.
changing
here's
Let's
the
pass the
anything
deal.
mic.
by being
Hold
somebody's
on.
neighbor, bro.
Everything you said was
Okay,
right.
let's
But
pass the
here's the
mic
deal,
after.
right? Hold on. Right? The Barclays
You can
wasn't
go ahead
created.
after me, man.
Hold on. Hear what I'm saying.
Okay,
Everything
thank
you
you.
said was right, right? But the Barclays didn't just happen in 2009.
The
No.
what?
You had the Barclays Center, right? This is
What
one
are
of
you
the
talking
greatest.
about? That's
Hear me
one
out. Hear me
place.
out. I'll explain. It's one of the
It can
greatest examples. Hear me out. It's one of the greatest examples of gentrification, right? We're talking about whole giant swaths of black inhabitants being moved out of these communities because they were priced out, right? The point I'm making is
Mhm.
it didn't start in 2009. You
It
had
doesn't
white
matter when
people.
it started.
No, it
What does
does
it
matter,
matter?
bro. It does matter.
No,
Because the point, hear me
what
out,
you
hear me
doing
out,
is you
hear me.
pushing the
Let me
goalpost.
finish. No, I'm
We
not,
wasn't talking
bro.
about that. We wasn't talking about the time. You said that when you moved, this is the
Bro,
only
let me
thing I was
finish my
talking about.
point,
You said
bro.
when you moved in white people neighborhood,
Right,
that gentrification. The only thing I said,
right.
no, that is not. Gentrification when you
And
change
so
your area in
now,
the 40 block.
right,
It
we
don't
all
matter how
understood
long
that.
it took. You
Hold on, we
moving in a
all
white
understood that.
neighborhood is just you becoming a
Hold
white
on,
person
we all
neighbor. That's
understood that,
it.
right? So now let me finish
Yeah.
my point, right?
Okay,
In the black
let him finish
communities
and then we
in
pass
Brooklyn,
after.
right? Barclays Center, that being built, right? That was one of the greatest examples of the effects of gentrification on black communities, right? My point is, it didn't start in 2009. There were people who set the landscape, right? There were already white folk moving in these communities, making white people comfortable to invest in these communities. Like gentrification isn't a snap of the finger thing. There are people
So,
that
so what are you
hold
saying?
on, hold on.
Gentrification take a long time? You
Yes,
just beat the point that we're not even talking about. We know it doesn't happen
but
overnight.
brother,
Wall Street,
but
what is
brother, when I
man?
but brother, when I brought up my point, that was your criticism and
No,
saying
it was
I'm not.
not.
Hear
No,
what I'm
it was
saying?
not. It was
Let me
nothing about how
hold
long
on,
it took.
bro.
That's just some
Let
shit
me
you
explain,
saying.
bro.
Only
Let me
thing that I
explain.
said was that
Let me
you moving
explain,
in a
bro.
white neighborhood was not
I
gentrification.
understand
That's
what you
it.
said. I understand.
Yeah,
And so you're saying
yeah.
that the effects
Asim, let him
of
finish
a
and we'll move the mic, please, brother.
hold on. You're saying that the effects of a black man like myself moving into a community aren't as impactful as what white folk have done. What I'm letting you know is how white folk accomplish what they accomplish. It didn't happen
I don't give
overnight.
a damn how white people doing what they doing. I'm trying to get black people to do the same. Why the
So
fuck
that's
would
what
I
I'm
care
trying to
what how
share with
white
you,
people
brother.
doing what they doing?
So
Hey, my
brother,
fault. I ain't gonna say nothing else, bro. You go ahead
real
and talk
quick.
next. I have no idea what he talking about, bro.
I
So
said, so
that
Okay,
that's what I'm trying to
okay,
share
CD, yeah,
with you.
CD, go
Hold
on.
on.
Let CD
If
go
I could
next.
land,
Okay,
if I
No,
after
could
no,
him.
no,
do this
no, no.
quick.
Let Africa go, because Will, you just be, I don't know, Will. You
I
just be
got cut off.
talking.
I
I don't
couldn't
know,
Babbling.
I'll
make a
let
Will.
CD go.
coherent
Babbling.
point.
Will, you just be talking
so
sometimes. Will. I don't know what the hell you talk about, Willie. But go ahead,
Right?
Yeah,
Will.
I'll let CD go, then I'll
yeah,
come
It
next.
don't be on my
Dennis.
All right,
level.
go,
Some of you niggas don't
go
understand what I'm
ahead,
talking
yeah,
CD.
I
about.
agree. I
I'm
agree with
talking money
D to investors. One
always.
thing that he said about Africans, I have Africans that live in New York City. They've been here for 20, 30 years. Some of them even have a wife back home.
No, they haven't.
They never even go back home. They never go for visit. And they will always give excuses, oh, I don't have people. Even by the time they get their green card, they are already dead. They never go, but they
Right.
stay all the time talk about I'm an African, I'm a Guinean, I'm a Ivorian, but they never go back home. They
Mm.
have nothing to identify themselves with Africa, right? And
So
they
they're
stay
not
here. How
Nigerians? So they're
what
not Senegalese? Is that your point?
wait,
Let him
I'm
finish. I think
African.
he's gonna.
I
I'm
say
asking a
African in
question about your
general.
point. I understand what you've said.
I'm
They've
just
never
giving an
been back.
example.
You're saying
So
they've been in
Yeah,
New
yeah, that's
York
what he's saying.
for
Yeah.
20 years and they've been claiming Nigerian. They've been claiming Senegalese and they've never been back. My
right.
question to you was, are they not Nigerian? Are they
But that
not
is a
Senegalese?
stupid question.
What is
Still,
it?
That's a
What are
bro.
you
stupid
asking?
question. That's an
I'm just saying.
asinine question.
I'm just supporting
Mm.
what D22
Oh my
investor
God.
said. That's what I'm saying. That how can you claim that you African? People that were not even born in Africa,
Right.
people
So
like
you're saying they're
Ghanaians
not that.
and other. God, please let me finish. Then you can talk,
Please,
please.
please, man. I'm
So
coming after you. Thank you.
I'm an African. I've met Ghanaians couple of times at the airport. The first time I met him was with a group of ladies. I didn't introduce myself. The second time I met him on a flight going to Nairobi, right, Ghanaians? So I visit Africa all the time. I spend almost 80% of my time in Africa. If I'm not in Ivory Coast, I'm in Guinea. If I'm not in Guinea, I'm in Liberia. If I'm not in Liberia, then I'm in Sierra Leone. So I move around in Africa, right? So how can you claim all the time? Anytime someone talks negative thing about Nigeria or Ghana, you claim to be Nigerians or Ghanaian, but you never go back. You don't even have nothing to identify yourself with. So I
Doesn't make
don't
Right.
sense. That,
understand.
that,
I
This is the
doesn't, that
disagree.
part.
doesn't make sense, I'm afraid.
I
So
I mean,
if
disagree.
I
you
mean, I mean,
Uh,
listen, my friend, if I may,
if
I've
you
been
no,
if
quiet.
you
I've
Jagos.
been
It's my
quiet.
turn
Sorry,
next.
my brother. Sorry. I've been
if
go
you
quiet on
if you
Africa.
if you
Africa,
claim that you
let me just deal with
African,
that
let me
point.
finish.
You know,
That's
look,
in
you
my
said
time.
now,
Yeah,
you
That's
but
my
said,
time.
God,
Please,
you're gonna talk next,
Jagun,
my brother. You're
Jagun,
gonna
can you let
talk
the
shut
man
up,
next.
man,
speak?
shut up. Don't talk to me.
God
Don't talk to me,
damn.
you damn
But you
fool.
over there
So
interrupting like
$360
you
Idiot.
sounding like
from
the
Get the hell
queen
out.
right
Fifth
now. You
Avenue.
know what I'm
Fucking
saying?
Fifth
idiot.
so
Avenue
what
God
is
what
damn, you
what
now
sound like a
Don't talk to
clown when
me.
known
you
as
talk.
Little
You should
Synagogue.
talk less as
They've
possible, bro.
carved out their
so
own
no
Shut your
matter
niche.
no
fucking
matter
mouth,
I
man.
how
swear
Please,
you
one
should
successful
put
second.
a
you
muzzle
CD,
on. You should put
no
a
matter how
CD, go
Nigerian
on, man.
muzzle
successful
on
you
your
are,
mouth,
What
boy.
you should do is shoot yourself. That would be good for all of us.
I
We're
no
can't
Okay,
matter
running
CD,
defuse
yeah,
from
go on.
myself.
15th Street
so
between
this is
St.
not only
Nicholas
in
Avenue
US,
and Fifth
even in
Avenue
France.
is
There are a lot of
known as Little
Malians that are
Synagogue,
sleeping in the
right?
street of France
They've carved their
that
own niche, right? They
listen,
are still
Willie,
Senegalese.
Can you finish? Let me
Willie,
finish
can
my.
you
If
mute,
I finish, then
bro?
you talk, or give you time. You talk. You
Yeah, I'm
have
tired of
not
y'all
only
too,
in the
though,
U.S.
because
You
you
go to
want to tell a
France,
story.
you
Oh,
will
my brother,
see.
I've been around the world, and get to the point. Because I'm surgical in mine. So if you're
Okay,
not
let
going
me
to let me
No,
finish.
finish,
Then when
Willie,
I
Right.
Willie,
finish,
If
you
you're
go.
if you surgical, then somebody need to go to a different doctor.
bro, you
Boy, you
cut me
go
off every
all
time
down
I
the street
speak, bro.
to a point. We were talking
Bro, you
about a
cut me
specific
off.
thing, and then you go to
Oh,
talk about
God's
what
sake.
year 1865
Correct.
and all that shit.
Correct.
You you are
Correct.
you,
And had you
you
not
are the
cut me off,
opposite of surgical,
and had
bro.
you not cut me off, I'm
Cut you
confident
off,
you're
bro.
intelligent
If
enough.
Stop it.
bro,
And
you
What
had
one
you
is
of them
not
this?
dudes
cut me
like on
off,
first
I'm
48. You got
What
to
is
confident
pour some
you're
this?
water in your
intelligent
face to
enough.
get you to
Oh,
get
You
to
would
the
have
point.
understood my
They got
point.
to offer you some chicken and some goddamn
Had you
potato
not
chips to
cut
get
me
you to get
off,
to the point.
I'm
Wall Street.
confident you're intelligent
God
enough
damn.
to have understood
CD,
my
yeah,
point.
Yeah,
let
But
CD
you're
so
land,
not
so
CD
coming.
so
land.
this is the part I
Mm.
understand. If you go to Paris, you go to France, or the ghetto area, Africans live in all these, ghetto places,
Squalor.
surviving on welfare,
Said
refuse
to
to go
me.
back home. And I don't
Right.
understand that. How can you say, oh,
I've been
you're
there.
Pan-African, you are Pan-African, you can't even spend a one day in Africa. You never visited a place, you claim to be Pan-African. I don't understand that.
I
No,
was
So
you see
playing with
that
no
that.
that
matter
thing
how
that you speak
successful you
about.
are, or no matter how struggling you are, you have to contribute to the society that you came from. But you cannot claim
Absolutely.
Right.
to be a Pan-African
So
that
I'll
you
explain it.
take a
It's
whole
called
year, you
Little
never visit in
Senegal.
Africa. So that's
It's
No,
the
no,
part I
called
no.
don't
Little
You're
Yeah.
understand.
Senegal,
completely
right?
Bros.
So,
You're completely
Hold
right.
so
on. Let me make my
But
point.
wait, no, you've
yes,
spoken
It's
enough.
called
Let me
Little
you've
just say
spoken
something.
Senegal,
already.
right?
Let
It's
me
You've
just say
from
spoken. You've
something.
in
spoken.
116th Street in Harlem, right? Between
No, no, we're
St.
not talking
Nicholas
about that.
Avenue and
We're
Fifth
not talking
Avenue.
about that.
It's called
Oh
Little
Lord.
Senegal, right?
Bro,
And
Bruh,
he
y'all
is
are
terrible.
all
funny,
speaking
bro.
from a
Already
place
know,
of
Julie.
defeat.
Already know.
Y'all are
But
all speaking
this
from a
dude
place
gonna
of
talking about
poverty.
goddamn
I'm speaking
Chinatown
from a place
and
of
little
blacks
Haiti
who
and
own things.
Florida. Then he gonna talk about the Key West where they
All
Bro,
right,
what
snorkeling
is
and
brother, let me
this?
shit.
do it.
Man,
I'll
go
be
ahead.
way
Hey,
The,
shorter
Jay,
the,
than
hey,
you
much
cutting
as
me
I
off.
hate to hear you talk, Jagger,
I
I
know.
want to hear your response, man.
Bro,
do, you
this
know,
is
do you
this
know the
is
Because
this
problem with
is
us?
20 years
the
Do
way
you
ago,
know
we're
the
having
problem
this
with us
said
Africans?
conversation.
wealthy
The
blacks
way we're
speak.
having this conversation is just awful, man. It's really
Poor
bad.
blacks always
It's
It's
speak.
very, I mean, it's
awful.
very
Wealthy blacks
It's
speak.
uncivilized.
awful
It's
because
very
of
uncivilized.
the American conduct. Anyway, let me just say this:
Yeah.
where we are
Make it
speaking.
quick. Make
Wait,
it quick.
wait.
Make it quick.
No,
It's my
don't tell me to
turn
make it quick. Don't tell me to make it
because
quick.
it's my
I've just
turn. It's
begun.
my
Please,
point.
I've
Jagu, make
just
it
It's
quick.
my turn.
begun to
Because you're
speak.
very long-winded, but we want to hear you.
And it
Don't
is
worry
my
about that.
turn.
Don't worry about that long-winded
What do
because
you
you
mean? Don't
people
worry
can't
about?
All right,
pay
so since you
attention.
don't worry about that,
Mm.
I'll talk over you,
Pay
right?
By
attention.
the way,
If we're
Jagun.
going to have
By
a
the way,
Wait,
Jagun.
wait,
It's
conversation
my
wait,
about
turn
wait.
to
how
I've
I
got
speak.
something to
feel,
say. Allow me. I've been quiet for a
Jagun.
while. Oh, bruv, please,
Jagun.
just say it
Jagun. It's
afterwards.
my turn to speak.
Oh,
It's
I
my
Yeah,
don't
turn
it's
to
know
time
speak.
about
for
that.
Africa.
I don't
Let
know
Africa
about that.
speak.
All I know is that I
It's
haven't
my turn.
spoken
It's
for a
my
long
turn.
while.
It's
It's
my
his
turn to
time.
speak.
Yeah.
Oh my
You see,
God.
you see, everyone's gone. In fact, you
It,
know what? This has been a waste of
it's
time. This has been a great waste of my time. Thank you.
go bye. Oh God. What diners should do, right? When you're having a conversation like this, you should be selective who you bring on a platform like this. Because when you're talking about economy, a lot of people are clueless. They are totally clueless in economy because they don't know what to say. They like to wait for someone to say something and then they disrupt them. And that they think that makes them more intelligent. I mean, we have different platforms where we talk about economy. We see a lot of these guys stay silent and muted. The reality is, this is a good example why we black people cannot move forward. We need to stop envying other people of what they got and start doing our own thing. What black people are trying to do, they're trying to copy the white man, they're trying to copy the Indian, they're trying to copy the Chinese. They don't have anything authentic. This is the problem. Until we actually look at what suits us in the continent, what we actually know, what actually suit us better. If you look at the back in the days in Africa, naturally we are people who actually used to be capitalists. We used to have kingdoms that traded with other kingdoms, and it used to go really well before it got disrupted. And we never seek help from any outsiders. We used to trade with them, and we used to have connections. But the only problem problem we had, we never had, the technology to defend ourselves, and we wasn't that ruthless to actually build security to secure our empire. The Mali Empire was very successful. CD was there. Me and CD could explain to you how successful a lot of the West African Empire was. And as I said the other day, there is not a coincidence. People from those empires are still the people who actually still manage to build a livable countries in the West African region, like Senegal, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Guinea was disrupted based on communism, and Sierra Leone was really successful at its height, and Liberia was. Unfortunately, we in the far west, we have had other people, who actually came into our lives, into our region, who have interrupted the stuff. And also, we got a lot of people in the region who are still doing that. And we have people who are conniving with outsiders who I think some of them are crusaders in different way, whether they're Muslim or Christians, who are conniving based on their own tribal needs instead of African needs, who actually led to our destruction. And it's never going to change until we get rid of those things. These things are the barrier of African development. It's tribalism, regionalism, and the worst thing that ever came in is foreign religion that made it worse. So it's more poison upon another poison. So we need to actually start looking at the things where we went wrong and how we're going to fix it. We Africans need to grow up. I don't think we're ever going to unite as a continent. Forget that, okay? Because we don't have what it takes to do that. This actually demonstrates that today. And it demonstrates that on every African platform, in the African nations. It's just a fact. We need to go back to our kingdoms where we were, how we used to be. And we used to have scholars, we used to have the workers. People were saying about, the low class always follow. Yeah, of course, those lower class are the people that build the nations. We need to listen to our leaders who are leading us in the right direction and work with them. But we need something to be given, to hold on to make us proud, to be more nationalistic instead of more tribalistic. But thank you very much, Diane, my brother, my Saloon brother. God bless you. And I think you are doing a great job. Thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate it. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
Danful offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danful, Africa. To learn more, visit danful.africa.